Permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
I'm Maria Kondakova.
And I'm Nate Silver.
And our new podcast, Risky Business, is a show about making better decisions. We're both journalists who moonlight as poker players, and that's the lens we're going to use to approach this entire show.
We're going to be discussing everything from high-stakes poker to personal questions.
Like whether I should call a plumber or fix my shower myself.
And, of course, we'll be talking about the election.
Listen to Risky Business on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Out.
Free iHeart app and search Risky Business.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225.
I don't care what Anna Kournikova says about the election.
Painesville and iHeart radio station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. You can vote on what topic you'd like to cover today most. Is it Angel Reese as the bad guy in the WNBA, or pass? Or is it you should not be putting Chick-fil-A sandwich wrappers in the microwave, Josh Michael?
I think that's the breaking news of the day.
What is happening right now? How did you do that? How do you not know that that's metal inside there?
Well, I mean, my number one question is, what did you think was in the inside of that? Like, it looks like
really
metal.
Thick paper.
It looks like something that would insulate a sandwich, and you should not put those things in the microwave. It's a bad idea.
I thought it's like one of those crisping trays on the microwavable French fries. I don't know, Josh. That is metal, sir. You will ruin a microwave that way.
Well,
I'm sorry he had to figure that out the hard way today.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. Cowboy Zach Hurst absolutely refuses to use a microwave.
Why?
He feels about microwaves the way I feel about birds.
No.
He's
a kooky Madookie.
I don't know if he's kooky Madookie. He just thinks that microwaves are his chemtrails.
Yeah.
You think that's how the government's poisoning us all?
Gotcha.
Which, hey, I wouldn't put it over the government because I don't trust them.
Well, yeah. Anyhow, that's interesting rabbit hole that I learned about Cowboy Zach Hurst today.
Boom.
Key, and also that Josh Michael doesn't know that you can't put Chick-fil-A wrappers into the microwave. Can't do that with Wendy's wrappers either. They're shiny on the outside. That means they're metal.
When in doubt, put it on a paper plate, bruh.
They will glow nicely, though. I haven't done that before. I did that just on purpose, just to see. I wanted to see what color it would change.
Oh, you're that kid?
Well, no, we were moving, and we had a new microwave, and so I had the old microwave, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. I've never done this before. Let's see what happens. It didn't blow up or anything. It just kind of glowed really nice little colors. Yeah, wasn't really worth it. Just figured I'd let you know in case you didn't know.
Well, that's probably the third least surprising thing I've heard today. Tank conducts science experiments that we should all know how they end.
Absolutely. Any chance I can get to, just the more you know. learn a little bit more about this life, I'll take the opportunity. Also take the opportunity always to thank our good friends over at Ingles Markets. I'm really getting excited. But day by day, we're getting closer and closer to the Living the Dream tour with our good friends at Ingles. Also a little help from our friends over at Dale's Pale Ale. And we're going to be all over the Southeast checking out some college football games, pro football games, each and every weekend throughout the holiday season.
Our first date will be at the Scott Fish Bowl, which I just confirmed you and I. So you will be my guest.
Okay.
Because you did they ever get back to you? Or are they going to put you in a league? Or
I did not. I did not ever hear back from them. I did get my hey, thanks for signing up, but I did not get any further communique.
Well, at the very worst, you can go with me, and we'll go see Nikki Glazer in Charlotte.
Ooh, is that the same night?
Yeah. Awesome. I don't know Nikki at all, but I know we've got friends of friends, so I've got backstage passes for me and you. I forgot to tell you that until just now.
I'm really excited about that. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I only got 2 smart aleck responses when I asked, hey, could you hook me up? And they went, so let me guess, you watch the Tom Brady roast too? You've had that available to you for 8 years and you just felt the urge to use it now? I'm sure that's an accident.
I'm sure it's an accident. Absolutely.
Look, I've always thought Nikki was hilarious. I am not new to this train. I've told you this on every roast.
Yes, you have.
She is going to be super famous one day. She's also the best looking comedian in the business, which ain't saying much because you get a lot of dudes that look like me and Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, but for her it is. That statement undersells how pretty she is.
Oh, no doubt. Her and Eliza Schlesinger.
I don't know that I'm familiar with Eliza.
You should be. She's done like 48 Netflix specials.
Okay.
She is intimidatingly attractive, and she's about 4 feet tall.
All right. I'll definitely have to check that out. Appreciate the tip there, Flostradamus. Yesterday we had the big news in the NFL. Justin Jefferson getting paid billions and billions of dollars. That put wide receivers into the focal point yesterday. So we're going to continue that trend today, and we're going to do that thing we've been doing with our season, our off-season breakdowns of the position groups, season previews of the position groups in the NFL, and the summer scouting. So yesterday was pass catchers and pass defenders. We're going to flip it today. Today we're going to talk about the best secondaries in the NFL. Flostradamus will give us his top 13 secondaries across the league. And then summer scouting, talking about the wide receivers and the 2 tight ends that are coming up in the draft.
Yeah, this is another draft where, hey, if you need a tight end, you should do it early because it falls off a mountain. But we do have another Iowa guy because it is an even-numbered year.
Well, I mean, that's what they do. Iowa and tight ends. It's, like crab cakes in football for people from Maryland.
Boom.
It's what we do. But before we get into the summer scouting and the top 13 of the day, quarterbacks in the NFL, how early should they play? Do we put too much pressure on them to play too early? This year, we've got Caleb Williams, day 1 starter for the Chicago Bears.
No doubt.
Bo Nix will be a day 1 starter. And
I'm not as sure of that as you are.
I feel pretty okay about it.
I'm not positive he starts day 1. He probably does, but I'm not. If I was putting it in order, Bo Nix would not be my 2.
Jaden Daniels.
Would be my 2.
Well, he's going to be a day 1 starter as well.
Yeah, because I don't think they're trotting Marcus Mariota out there.
No. Not a chance. You had, Bryce, CJ, and Anthony Richardson were the day 1 starters last year.
Well, I mean, look, they're all going to play in year 1. I mean, there's a great article done by Bradley Locker from our friends at PFF. And basically the gist of the article was how valuable is the bridge quarterback. And we're looking at the Jacoby Brissetts and the veteran that's sitting behind the guy that your team just drafted. I'm going to ask you a question. Take the first 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first in the last 5 years. So you got 25 quarterbacks total, 5 per year for the last 5 years. How many of those guys do you think did not start a game by week 10?
Oh, it's not many. Handful, 5.
It's 5. Desmond Ridder, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Drew Lock, and Will Grier. Of those 5, 4 of them started in the double-digit weeks. Jordan Love didn't start a game until much later, but he was sitting by, I shouldn't say much later, it was the next year. But he was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. If you look at the other 4, they were either drafted late or there was just nobody in front of them. They weren't very good prospects, but they still wound up on the field. So this idea that, Drake May will sit for a year behind Jacoby Brissett. No, he won't. He might sit a week. He might sit 4 weeks. You're not making any further than that. J.J. McCarthy sitting behind Sam Darnold, same thing.
Precisely.
Because the first opportunity they have to bench that guy, they're going to.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't deny the prospect, right? That's part of the word. Prospect means that there's something better coming with those guys. If we're not getting the job done with what we currently have, why put off the success or the potential success or start the ball rolling on the development of what's to come?
Well, and
I want to get these guys on the field.
And I agree with that, but maybe not for the same reason that you do. Yesterday we talked about Justin Jefferson and these high-end receivers and what happens to these teams and why the vast majority of those teams are not really threats to win Super Bowls. The thing about the NFL is that it turns very glacially, so things don't necessarily happen very quickly. You don't have a lot of advantages in this league. There is one that is first and foremost, and that is you have a legit number one, no doubt quarterback. Having Pat Mahomes, having Josh Allen, having Joe Burrow, having Lamar Jackson, that is the ultimate advantage. The only way that you can even get in the ballpark of one of those teams is by having a cheap rookie on a rookie deal. That's it. There is no other way. Because then you fall into the Kirk Cousins tier, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Of can J.J. McCarthy get to the point where Kirk Cousins was? If he does in the next 4 years, that's fine because he's cheap. He ain't going to be cheap after that. So you get these little 4-year windows before you hit the 5th-year option. If they make a Pro Bowl, they become exponentially more expensive. Justin Fields was going to be $21 million this year. Or next year, excuse me. That's not an advantage anymore. $20 million of Justin Fields is not in the ballpark of 55 of Pat Mahomes. You got to have him at 5. Build the team out around him, have an outrageous roster, and then you've got a shot. And if you actually hit on a quarterback, then there is a merit to paying the contract. You'll still be at a disadvantage because none of them are Patrick Mahomes. But you're at least in the ballpark. Which brings me to the reason I wanted to talk about this. I'm going to ask you a question, and I think when you answer this, it will make my stance on all things quarterback make a lot more sense. If you put Pat Mahomes on the Miami Dolphins right now, how many teams would you take over them in the NFL?
Oh.
0.
I don't know that I would. I don't know that there is one.
They have a good pass rush with young dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They're hurt and may not start the year, but they'll be back. The secondary is one that we're going to talk about today when we talk about top 13 secondaries. The offensive line's not great, but the weapons are so good and they're so fast that it kind of mitigates pass rush. Put Tua Tagovailoa on the Chiefs, what happens? How many teams in the AFC would you take over Kansas City at that point?
Yeah, it's about 6.
I'd go
7.
10.
Okay.
Because I'd take the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, every team in the AFC North, the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the LA Chargers, and probably the Indianapolis Colts. And probably the Las Vegas Raiders as well. Take them all because you have no weapons. You have Rashee Rice, who may or may not miss the first 6 games of the year, and Hollywood Brown, who I've seen this. I've read this book, and I saw a lot of people in the chat yesterday talking about, well, what are you supposed to do? You keep taking swings at quarterback until you hit one. The biggest boo-boo you can make is paying a mediocre, average, good quarterback like they're great. I think you're going to see that with the Los Angeles Chargers. You ever notice when I mention elite quarterbacks, I never mention Justin Herbert? Does that ever strike you as strange?
Well, I mean, he's up there.
He's up there where?
Like, I don't know, like 7, 8.
Okay. That puts him
Somewhere
closer to
in that
Kirk
range.
Cousins than it does to Pat Mahomes. That's not elite.
Yes. Yeah.
When you pay that guy that way, basically all you did was guarantee you are at a gross disadvantage. Because now you are paying Justin Herbert more money than the Kansas City Chiefs are paying Pat Mahomes. So now not only are they better than you, they're cheaper than you too. And that's why I just keep looking at Miami going, the longer you carry this Tua thing on, I'm almost envious of Dallas. If they've looked at Dak Prescott and said, yeah, we're not doing this in year. He's going to hit the market. And if somebody wants to overpay him, more power to him. We'll take a swing in the draft. We'll take a swing with a young guy. We'll make a trade. We'll do whatever we have to do. But we spent 5 years now with a mediocre quarterback getting high-end money. He played like an MVP last year. What did that yield you? One game in the playoffs that you got smoked like a deli meat. You know why? Because you came up against a team with a cheap quarterback who is every bit as good, if not better. That's the difference. I got a $40-something million head start on you because I'm paying Jordan Love circus peanuts, and you're paying Dak Prescott like he's an elite quarterback. That's the gist of what I'm trying to say every time we do this.
Yes, I understand.
A McDonald's cheeseburger and a Ruth Chris steak are not the same thing. But you pay $4 for one and you pay $100 for the other. Mm-hmm. If you had to pay $100 for a quarter pounder, all of a sudden that quarter pounder is not as tasty, is it? That was no shade at a quarter pounder. I don't want my friends to be upset at me. I see them quite often. I was not taking shade. I like your cheap burger. It's wonderful. It ain't Ruth Chris.
But it ain't Ruth Chris. I get it. You want to pay elite quarterbacks elite money. The problem is everybody else has got to fall into that scale somewhere. And it's better to have almost that guy than no one at all, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Historically,
so we should only have so go just I'm going down this path here. So to me that says teams there should only be 5 major money quarterbacks in the league. Nobody else gets more than 20. Is that?
No, but you're not getting anybody at 20. See, now you're doing that Bernie Sanders thing of, well, in a perfect world, I could pay a guy 20. Well, here's the thing: we don't live in a perfect world.
Well, no,
because
I'm just trying to figure out
wants and desires.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put the mindset here of what's the ceiling that you would pay someone who's not elite.
I won't.
You won't pay anybody.
I won't, because they're not going to accept what I'm going to offer. Justin Herbert, I told you the day that deal was signed. Weird. The last one to get signed was the worst value.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had Burrow, we had Tua, we had Justin Herbert. I don't think Tua's going to get signed. I think he's going to hit the open market and somebody's going to give him something dumb. This is the basic tenet of capitalism. As long as somebody is willing to overpay for something, you're in the same boat with real estate right now. Is a 2-bedroom house in Asheville worth $750,000? No. You going to struggle to sell it for that? Yeah, because eventually everything's going to get back to at least somewhat copacetic, and the one that has that big money house that they paid way over what it was worth, you're the one that's screwed.
Right.
Me who rented, I'm not, because I'm not stuck with a bank note. You are. I still have a place to live. I'm still going to have a quarterback. I'm not going to be any less competitive than you are, because I would rather have Jacoby Brissett for $5 million than Justin Herbert for $60. And that sounds crazy to say, but it's 100% how I feel. And I got so much flack the last 2 times I've said this. I felt like that article was perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Why do you think these rookies are starting?
Because when you say it that way, it just doesn't make sense. That you can tell someone, I'm going to be just as competitive with Jacoby Brissett as I will be with Justin Herbert. On its face, that sounds idiotic. That sounds stupid. Because
Green Bay Packers.
Jacoby Brissett. Now, you're right, but Jacoby Brissett is not equal to or even close to being Justin Herbert.
No, but Justin Herbert at $60 million has no ceiling. Oh, he can throw for 5,000 yards. Awesome. He also has huge gaping holes in that game. And he needed Mike Williams and Josh Palmer and Keenan Allen to do all of those things. All of them. Now, Stephen Tao in the YouTube comments said, Jeremy, that's the 49ers logic too, but you poo on them. I have no... if you remember when we did power rankings, they're in my top 5. The problem with San Francisco, I'm fine with your logic. You draft so poorly that it doesn't work. Because you have to go chase Javon Hargrave. You hit on Bosa, so you got to pay him on the high end of the market. But then you missed on Drake Jackson. You hit on some linebackers. You've got Charvarius Ward. You have virtually nothing else in the secondary except Hufanga, who you hit on with a mid-round draft pick. If you drafted consistently, San Francisco would have 3 Super Bowls with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. They don't. They take kickers in the 3rd round. That's the reason Philadelphia is always good, whether you pay a quarterback or you don't. You can mitigate it that way. The thing you can't be, like the Chargers, is paying a 7, 8, 9, 10 quarterback like a top 2 and be poor drafting. Because every draft pick you miss is somebody else you're going to have to pay to replace that miss.
And that is the choice, yes, Stephen Tao, when you have the ability to do that, when you have a Brock Purdy to fall back on. The question is, after Brock wins you so many games, then what do you do?
Well, so that's the problem.
Then are you going to be paying
eventually
him?
Everybody's going to make sure they are a bad value. Because right now the market is bad. Because right now you've got Pat Mahomes and then a drop off a cliff to 2. Because right now, if I asked who is the second best quarterback in this league, I could put 5 options in a poll, and I guarantee you we'd finish it with nobody at more than 30%. Because you get people banging the drum for Joe Burrow. The people against that would say, but he's hurt all the time. It's not historically true, but that's what they're going to say. Josh Allen's never won anything. He's never been to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's won, a game in the playoffs in his entire career? I can give you the pro and con of all of it. You know what that means? That we really have one tier. It's the Pat Mahomes tier. Oh, and by the way, they signed him for $1 billion years. So we don't have to look at this ever again. He's going to be the best value in sports for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So unless you're just ready to roll over and die, you better start taking shots that you're going to find that cheap guy and that you can roll out there for 4 years.
Yeah. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll continue the discussion next.
In this week's Marketers Report,
I think I had a stroke right there.
Hyundai Motor America discusses measuring audio.
You might have words. My words aren't one to come out.
With an audio, I think surprised all of us. We have seen a huge return on our investment. Seeing real numbers has helped us continue to invest.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to
Jack S. has a real good point here that we'll use into the next segment.
Marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
We can run a little long here and then just kick in at like, 35 or something in the next break.
Never heard of them.
Then do outside on the backside of that, and we'll talk about the Caitlin Clark thing, because I'm going to lose my mind.
So to help it
if I don't say it, my head's going to like
15 seconds.
The blood's going to come out of my ears.
Your community. Our local.
Are you staring at it on your television?
No.
Have minty fresh breath.
Find us
no, right now I have a serial killer documentary playing on my television because I'm tired of watching ESPN talk about Caitlin Clark.
And there's number 4.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Now you can
I just gashed my eye. Give me an extra 30
That's
seconds.
one line for only $25 a month.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just hit myself with
the limited
I'll be
time
back.
offer. So find a store.
All right.
Suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device.
We got a bleeder.
Account for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Call 844-ADD-HELP-5. That's 844-ADD-HELP-5.
First News on 570.
Hey, are you familiar with this thing called the portal? An OnlyFans model forced organizers to pull the plug on the portal after she flashed her breasts.
Was this just one-sided, or were their Dubliners reciprocating? Were we showing bit for bit here?
No, I don't think we were.
Weekday mornings at 6.
Bit for bit, that's good tech. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're going to show you old glory, we need to see some Lucky Charms.
On News Radio 570, WWNC.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Fort Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksforthendersonville.com.
If you're looking to buy
All right, are you okay?
Yeah.
State in the mountains,
I don't know what I
Get your
did.
tampon to stop the bleeding?
Well, I've got that thing on my eye, and I think I just hit it with something.
Check us out online.
So all of a sudden I started feeling something running down my face. I looked up, and I looked like
Did I mention
Edge
that
in
Clarissa Sells
WrestleMania
WNC loves
26.
teachers? We love teachers. Back 25%.
Oh, that little skin tag.
For more information,
whatever it is.
contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
And we're back to the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Live in the Ingalls studio. I'm Tank Spencer. He's live at Mullet Manor. Jeremy Greene. We're talking quarterbacks in the NFL.
But before we go into that, I have to go fourth. Yep. I got to tear down a fourth wall thing.
What are you doing?
So, you know, I feel like sometimes Tank doesn't get the credit he deserves. When we signed the deal with Dale's Pale, which first of all, those dudes are awesome. And he said, I got this on their branding and their imaging and their commercial and all that. I went, I really feel like my voice goes better with the blue jean box and all that. And he went, no, I got this. It's quality work, sir. That's the first time I've heard that all the way through.
I appreciate that.
It's very quality.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more to come with our partnership with Dale's Pale Ale. It is it's fantastic beer. I am brand loyal. You can go pick up that 15-pack over at Ingalls Supermarkets today.
Boom.
Low prices. Love the savings. They've got the mix pack now, though, that's got all of the flavors in it. So if you're not just a lager fan, right, you don't just want to have the Dale's Pale, you can have all of the IPAs. I love the IPAs. So they got a good beer. Look for the beer in the blue jean box. Brock Purdy. We mentioned Brock Purdy in the last segment, brought up quite the discussion here in the YouTube chat about, the San Francisco 49ers are kind of going down that path of, we don't have to have the high-priced guy, and we can build around him. We can have success with this guy. Yes, you can, but once you have success with that guy, you got to eventually pay that guy or make the decision on maybe he's not the guy, we move on. I don't really see a path that San Francisco is going to say no to Brock Purdy. And to answer Stephen Tao's question in the YouTube comments, he's getting way more than Baker Mayfield.
Baker got 40?
Baker got, I thought it was like 35, 37, somewhere in that range.
It was 37 and a half.
Maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. But he's getting 50 plus, no question. Don't you think?
Brock Purdy's going to that's a tough one for me. I don't know anybody in terms of just sheer scouting standpoint that looks at him and says he's worth that. But I do feel like there's a team that would be desperate enough to pay it if he ever got out there. I mean, there are times that you get painted into a corner and you don't have a choice. If Brock Purdy leads San Francisco to a Super Bowl and it's the first one you've had since 1994 with a glamour franchise and you let him walk, you will never be allowed to show your face in San Francisco ever again.
But even if he doesn't, he's already led you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so did Jimmy Garoppolo. San Francisco's already proven. Him. Yeah, but you didn't pay him like this. Look, the world's changed. You know, and you know my feelings on fair. That's not a word that really exists in lexicon. Shows up one time a year in your town with Ferris wheels and funnel cakes. I just combined
Ferris
that.
Cakes better.
And funnel wheels?
Yeah.
That's what I almost said.
Ferris cakes and funnel wheels. Let's go.
It's not fair. It's not fair that you have a Kansas City team that's one of the better drafting teams in the league that hit on a quarterback at 10 that got him sewn up early before all of these crazy quarterback deals happened because he showed up in a lull. He showed up in between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and then the Joe Burrows and the Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, all the higher paid guys.
Well, he was the first, right? He was the first guy to get the mega deal.
And if you remember the day he signed, we said this is going to be a ridiculous value the further down the rabbit hole we go. Because if you remember, they did that contract in a very bright way because they paid a lot of it up front. So that cap number, if I'm not mistaken, it goes down over the course of a good amount of this contract, and then it balloons late. I want to say it's like $80 million or something dumb late.
Right.
But, I mean, by then, I don't care.
But he'll restructure.
I got to have 5 Super Bowl rings by then. I don't care.
Right.
See, the rest of you have to live up to me. I got the quarterback. I built the roster. I'm in a division that doesn't really have a legit contender in it with me in the tougher conference. You got to come to Arrowhead and beat me. So the idea that you're going to keep doing that you're going to beat me by trying to do the same thing over again, Miami, who came in here last year and got demolished. Okay, so now you're going to pay that quarterback 10 times what you were paying him before, and you think you're going to beat me? Good luck with that. Awesome, because every time you pay somebody any level of money like that, something else comes down. Kansas City doesn't have that problem. This is the reason they trade guys like L'Jarius Sneed. I can't afford to keep you. I'm so good here, I can deal with that. I've got 4 young corners. One of them's going to work. Secondaries today, I'll go ahead and tell you, even without L'Jarius Sneed, I still have Kansas City in the top 13. They're not super high, but they're close enough.
Your only hope with a team like Kansas City is that you're hoping that you hit at their trajectory. You're going up, they're going down.
Mm-hmm.
And can you ride that with Tua? If you pay Tua, can you keep climbing while hopefully they regress over the years? I don't see where the answer to that is ever yes.
Well, but the answer to that is that I've got to be better than you at everything else.
Right. But I also understand I'm never going to have I don't have the opportunity to be better than you at that. And I'm definitely not even going to be close to being better at you without Tua. Without that quarterback. Can I just bring anybody in here and do this?
Well,
Can I just cut Tua?
Worries about the money.
Yeah.
With Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I think I could play quarterback and at least look serviceable. Because all I got to do is hit 3 over the top a week, and I'm throwing for high 2 bills a week. That's the question. Which is better? Cheap, mediocre quarterback or ludicrously expensive, good? I mean, you're not going to get me to say anything nicer than that about Tua because it's just not there.
Right.
You watch the tape, and he loses you more games than you would ever think out of a guy that's elite. He never beats good teams, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll take the way you said it. Is there a path that I can build out a team where I can grind it out on the ground? I'm really good in the offensive line. I can rush Pat Mahomes and try to beat him the way your Buccaneers did in the Super Bowl a handful of years ago. Can I build that team? Yes. Am I going to build a team where I'm going to outshoot Pat Mahomes? No. It's just not going to happen. And you're going to end up paying this bum more than they're paying Pat Mahomes. Good luck with that. The McDonald's selling $60 quarter pounders goes out of business real fast.
But that's part of the build here. Like, it's since we keep using Miami specifically, I mean, that is the build there. I need an offense that can hang, that might be able to hit some big plays. We can run the ball great. We obviously have all the speed, the field stretchers to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the defensive side, we're trying to load up on pass rushers and secondary players.
But here's the problem. You're doing all of that right now while he's cheap. You know what you lose when you pay him? Everything you just said. Because you pay Tua Tagovailoa, you've already paid Jalen Waddle, you've already paid Tyreek Hill. You know who you can't pay? Jalen Phillips. You know you can't pay? Jalen Ramsey. You know you can't pay? Bradley Chubb. And now you've got a defense that he's going to cut up like a Thanksgiving turkey, and you've got half the quarterback making 130% of the money. Well, but he's got better receivers. Awesome. That and $1 will get him a Coke. Pat Mahomes makes Rashee Rice Tyreek Hill. Tua Tagovailoa makes Tyreek Hill. And that's the reason that I say every single year, if you have a question at quarterback, you don't have one. If you don't know if you have the guy and you're completely comfortable, you don't. Dak Prescott, I said it was a bad deal the day they signed it. Do you think Dallas regrets doing that now? Because I go ahead and tell you they do. And it ain't hard to figure out either. You listen to them talk about giving him an extension, you can hear the regret.
Oh, yeah.
Miami will be in the same boat. I think the Chargers will be in the same boat. I think several of these teams are going to be in the same boat. And you want to know the build? The build's not hard. The Green Bay Packers are the build. I took a late shot on a quarterback. Do I think he's elite? No, I don't. And if I hear one more person say he was the best quarterback in the NFL towards the end of the year against one of the worst schedules in the league, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. And when you make him a $50 million guy, he ain't going to look the same. I'm not saying he's a bum. He is definitely better than I thought he was. But you missed the window with him. You need that cheap guy. You need to throw the darts at Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. Hope you hit 2 or 3 of them. Build out a great team. Pay the ones that you can afford. Trade them off. More draft picks. And just do this in a cycle. That's the only way you're going to beat them. You might get them in a one-off year. Maybe they lose a couple games they shouldn't. They have to come to your place and you can beat them. But are you going to beat them consistently? That's all I care about. Can I beat you consistently? I don't want to live the next 10 years as it's better to be lucky than good.
But are you ever going to be good enough to be elite is the question.
Depends. I think you have several rosters in the NFL that could legit contend with Kansas City year in, year out because that roster is atrophying.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that they're doing a great job at replacing guys. Now, I think the Xavier Worthy thing was dumb. So maybe you got a little opening here. You gave up a couple picks to get up there to get him. He's already done something that made my brain hurt. But that's what you need. They're going to have to regress a little bit because if they just keep building up this roster, you won't beat them.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. When we come back, it'll be time to get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen
Clear
weather forecast on ESPN
Thank you.
Asheville.
Mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. Storms possible this afternoon and into tonight. Highs near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms Wednesday. Best chance and most numerous as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Highs tomorrow near 80. Thursday, mix of clouds and sun. Still a chance for a few showers and storms. Highs Thursday afternoon, low 80s. Sunshine for Friday, upper 70s to near 80. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Macy's. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder.
All right, I want you to roll whatever your story is. I want you to roll it to completion, and then just throw it to me, and we'll banter about this Caitlin Clark attendance thing. I'm only giving this segment, but I'm going to lose my mind about it.
Okay.
A weekend full of superstar performances this September.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale Friday, June 14th.
But starting June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
Summit Dental is accepting new patients. At Summit, they submit insurance on your behalf and provide you with estimates, so you have everything you need to make an informed treatment decision. They also work with Care Credit, and they're happy to help you apply. Care Credit helps you pay for out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. See why Summit Dental has so many 5-star reviews on Google. Book today at AshevilleSummitDental.com. In-house savings programs are also available. Book online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
When the flowers come into bloom, it is like a field of dreams. Hi, I'm Belinda Smith. My husband Russ and I own Briar Hill Farm in Pickens, South Carolina. Ingles has really brought awareness to locally grown flowers, and they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers, and customers realize the advantage of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. And Jeremy, the crown jewel of the Queen City, is on the way. Have you seen the new renderings of the upgrades coming to Bank of America Stadium?
I have.
And what are your thoughts?
Well, for $600 million, you're a third of the way to just building a new stadium, which I don't understand why you don't just do that. But
well, because you don't have to. You don't have to because they say
you been to Atlanta. I'm throwing that out there. I get it's expensive, but if you're going to put that much
100%.
money in it,
well, you know, a lot plays into that, right? You got to build a new stadium, then you got to find a new place for it. Do you want the stadium to be in a different spot if you're going to stay in the city of Charlotte? I think the way that the city has grown up around that stadium, you wouldn't want it to be in any other place. It's in a perfect position where it's at right now. All the high-rises that they put around it.
I've always said that's a grossly overrated thing.
What, having a walkable area around it? A community around it?
Well, it's walkable if you live there.
Yeah.
How many Panther fans do you think are coming into games that don't live there? Because it's a lot. Charlotte's a very transient city. You got a lot of people that are not from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And traffic around that stadium on game day, woo. I'm a big fan of put it outside the stadium where you can put parking and make it. Okay, so it's not walkable. Most stadiums are not walkable.
Oh, you're saying put it outside the city?
I've always said that's a better build than trying to build your downtown around it because you have other things happening at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's in a pretty cool spot where it's at now. They say that, and this is their words, not mine, the bones are good. Tepper Sports has made a proposal that they would like to do all said with the new practice facility and everything, over $1 billion in upgrades to the Panthers facilities. And it's a major facelift, once again, to Bank of America Stadium. Part of the agreement would be that the city of Charlotte kicks in $650 million. The Tepper investment would be $688 million. So you're spending over $1 billion to redo the stadium. And the thing that's got me the most excited about the redo is not only the state-of-the-art look that it's going to have. Basically, this is just trying to put the facade of a brand-new stadium onto the existing bones of a stadium that was built in 1995. Is that correct? 95, 96?
Now, the stadium was built, they started construction in 94.
Yeah, and it debuted in like 96 because they had to play that first season in Clemson.
Yeah, they won one
Death
game
Valley.
there. Guess who that was against?
Yeah. Was that against your Jets?
It was. Little 8-year-old Jeremy cried. No big deal.
I got to see Bucko Bruce up close. I was happy and get a win nonetheless, which was no easy thing.
That was rare for you in those days,
90s, right? For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I did get to see them win against the Panthers in that inaugural season. But the renderings look awesome of what they're doing. The thing I'm most excited about is it looks like the concourses, even high up, may have walls. You ever been on that upper concourse for a December game? Ugh. The coldest
cold.
I think I've ever been in my life, or second coldest I think I've ever been in my life, other than one, camping trip up to Grandfather Mountain in January, which was a terrible.
Why would you do that?
Well, I was a kid. It was Boy Scouts. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. But the Monday night football game where D'Angelo Williams ripped the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' hearts out with like 4 touchdowns in one game, that was probably the coldest I've ever been in the state of North Carolina outside of being on top of that mountain. It is brutally cold up there in the cheapies. And so maybe that's just one bonus, is that at least you can go to the concourse to get some break from the wind up there. But it's cool, man. They're going to carve out part of the bowl. You're you're going to be able to like see through the back of the stadium to the skyline and stuff. It looks really nice. All the things that they're planning.
I live by a simple credo: new is always better.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it does. You're right. It does look cool, and I will be curious to see if the city's willing to pitch in $650 million.
Well, the thing about that is this is not $650 million new dollars. This is not a tax initiative. This is already hotel tax money that is earmarked for them.
Oh, I'm aware.
It's either earmarked for the stadium upgrades or random amateur sports things in the city of Charlotte. I don't feel like this is going to be much of a fight.
Yeah, Charlotte's not Asheville, but it's in the ballpark. You can take that however you want to. Speaking of Asheville, there's a good number of you that are getting ready to get real pissed off at me, and you'll get over it. We're finally going to talk about Caitlin Clark because you've made me do it. Yay. I don't want to do it, but you've made me do it. Not you. Just the sports landscape on the whole. You have made me talk about this and how if I hear one more person make this a race thing or make whatever you want to, I can boil this down to the simplest algorithm you'll ever see in your life. What we're talking about is, I'm sure by now you have all seen that Caitlin Clark got hip checked. I could frankly care less about any of that. I don't care about the why it happened. I don't care about any of that. I want to make those of you that are defending really hard to understand points to me, let me boil this down for you. Over the weekend, Caitlin Clark played 2 games. How many, and I'm not going TV numbers because this ain't like the NFL. Okay, I can't take your streaming and compare the number of that to a game that went on ESPN. Not as many people have access to that. So it's not an apples to apples comparison. Tank, you and I were in Indiana 3 months ago?
Yep.
We've been in this town. It's not a big town. Indianapolis does not feel all that much bigger than Asheville. It is, but it doesn't feel that way. 2 Caitlin Clark games attendance over the weekend. What would you say they were? Just take a stab at how many people.
It's sold out.
Neither one was
17,000 people.
One was close to a sellout. Neither one actually hit it. They're just underneath it. 17,274, 17,401. There were 7 WNBA games over the weekend that did not feature Caitlin Clark. What was the most number of people that showed up to any of those?
7,000 people.
You're close. That would be 3. 10,207 showed up to one, and I don't know which game is which. Okay. I'll almost bet you the 10,000 was the game in New York.
Probably.
98-78 was 2. 3 was 76-38. So I don't know how good you are at math. Do you realize that means that I can only add the 2 highest games to get to a Caitlin Clark game?
Right.
So all of these people, Monica McNutt just did this on First Take, coming after Stephen A. Smith for, well, you could have talked about this 3 years ago. Well, if anybody cared, I would have. Oh, yeah, you're right. I have a platform because people listen to my show because I talk about what they want me to talk about. I don't talk about things just to make you feel better. This is the first time this sport has had anything relevant to talk about over the last 25 years. Oh, but Angel Reese. Yeah, I'll raise you a Rebecca Lobo, a Shamika Holzclaw, a Cheryl Swoops. Guess what? Nobody cared. You didn't care. You didn't watch it. You didn't go. Save me. Take your virtue signaling, I can't say that word, and shove it up your keister. I'm tired of hearing about it, okay? This is the first marketable thing you've ever had, and you're doing your best to screw this up.
Mm-hmm. They're well on their way. Absolutely well on their way. Yesterday, as you were talking with Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith, before they went hastily to a break, as they were getting into it.
By the way, Molly Karam, falafel that break. You let that go. Okay, that's like Radio 101. Just you know what? We'll say we're sorry. We'll go a little longer in those breaks next hour.
As Stephen A. said on his podcast, we've already had that discussion, and we won't be having it again. When it gets that hot and heavy, and all the eyeballs are on the television, don't go to a commercial break. That's not a good idea. But as they were ushering it to the break, there was another face on that screen. You remember who that was? Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp kept screaming, Molly, you're making the point. You're making the point. You're making the point. Yeah, you are making the point in one of the worst ways possible. Jeremy's right. Everybody's right. You have the most the most marketable thing you've ever had in the WNBA. The only thing that's actually, as this one article I pulled up here from, shocker of shockers, that's a Washington Post article. Where this bright columnist is talking about, it only matters now because men are watching. Well, here's my thing. Yes, that's partially true, but it's not because men are watching. It's because sports fans are watching. The majority of sports fans are men. And if you have eyeballs on it, then we're going to talk about it. If you don't have eyeballs on it, we're not going to talk about it. And the one time that we want to put eyeballs on it, the only thing you want to do is bitch about how we didn't used to have eyeballs on it.
Yep.
It's the one thing that makes all of us go, oh, okay.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah, we were cool. We were cool before. Yeah,
I was cool out, and I'll be out again. And you want to make this a race thing? You want to make this whatever it is? It's sports.
Yeah.
It's sports. If it's entertaining to watch, we will watch it. Caitlin Clark is interesting to watch. Now, this has gone very similarly to how I told you it was going to go, that this team wasn't going to be very good, and I'll be interested with all of this crap that has gone on around it. I won't be shocked if a great number of people go, oh, yeah, that was fun. It was way more fun when she was in college, and it's not real fun now because now I'm getting lectured for why I should have done this 3 years ago, and I'm an adult. I don't need you to lecture me. I'll watch what I want to watch. That's the beauty of America is it's, free market economy. I can watch whatever I want to. If I want to watch two dudes hit each other with the head with sticks, I can do it. If I want to watch the WNBA, I will. If you make it watchable, I'll watch it. We showed that.
I'm not.
But instead, you want to make this about everything else that it's not about.
Yeah.
The NBA has already proven if you want to take this political grandstand, don't be shocked when your audience is 60% of what it was 10 years ago. Oh, by the way, because that's where you're at. You can follow the NBA's same model because this is exactly what you're doing. You know where we never do this? The NFL never does this. Is that weird? It's weird. Well, we never have that. Not like this. I will.
We had that one, and that was a doozy.
And that was the lowest the ratings had been in 10 years. And we're going to get away from that immediately.
Yeah, learned a lesson.
Yeah, one league got away from that. I mean, look, they still have their stances, and they still do things. It's still on the back of the helmet. It's still on the end. It's not that they're ignoring it. It's that this is entertainment. I don't need to be lectured, okay? I went to school for 20 years. I don't need you to lecture me. I'm an adult. I'll do whatever I want to do. If I want to watch it, I'll watch it. If I don't want to watch it, I won't. The one thing I'm not going to do is get lectured for why I wasn't watching it 5 years ago. You can take that on somewhere. You didn't make it watchable. You want me to watch it? Make it watchable.
And now that it is watchable, now they want to criticize and pick apart why it's watchable and come up with a whole bunch of other reasons other than maybe she's just a transcendent athlete who touches a different chord.
Oh yeah, and
than
if you
anybody else who's ever been in this sport, right? You mentioned several of the greats. I mean, Diana Taurasi, Sabrina, all of these. None of them have ever been able to do what Caitlin's doing now.
No, it's because we fell in love in college because the college game has changed. And I got news for you: Juju Watkins can do the exact same thing. You've got to do it right. I don't trust the NCAA to do that. I don't trust the WNBA to do it on the pro side. But I mean, here's the thing: this ain't hard to figure out. If you can get eyeballs, you can get sponsors, the money pops up, all of a sudden you're doing charter flights and all these other things. And if you don't believe the WNBA knows exactly what they're doing, why have the Fever played 12 games and the Aces have played 6? Strike while the iron's hot. Ain't hard to figure out. They're telling you the truth. You can argue about it until you're blue in the face. Just stop lying to me. Stop with the old poor pitiful me. Enjoy the ride. Make it right. You don't have to be right for it to be right. Mm-hmm. And now I have to clean my microphone because I have spat upon it for the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, the problem is the ride's going to be over and you were too worried bitching about things, and you missed it. You missed your opportunity to be relevant because guess what's getting ready to happen in another month? Football time again.
Bingo.
And nobody cares again. And then the WNBA becomes just as irrelevant as the NBA. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Top secondaries in the NFL. Our next top 13 in our offseason coverage coming up next.
Tuesday, July 30th.
We're clear.
Peel Events presents Chevelle.
And Conversation Probation.
Engaged.
It's now
engaged.
Online at theorangefield.net. Don't miss Chevelle live July.
All right, we're back 2 after.
Stand for.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
As the nation's leader in using orthobiologics to deal with joint pain, QC Kinetics has treated tens of thousands of patients. For many of them, that treatment comes with a plan to lose weight. As we know that keeping a healthy weight puts less strain on your joints. So, now to help patients lose weight in the fastest and most effective way, QC Kinetics is excited to offer newly approved injectables for those who qualify. If your weight is keeping you from living your best life, Call QC Kinetics now and learn more about these next-generation weight loss options, including semaglutide and tirzepatide. Even if you're looking to look better and feel better by getting back to your ideal weight, call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics to see if you qualify for these revolutionary and effective treatments. QC is making these amazing options accessible and affordable, and it starts with a free consultation. Call 833-QCK-SLIM to get yours today. 833-QCK-SLIM. 833-QCK-SLIM.
At Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, our focus is on you. With 18 locations across North Carolina specializing in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care, our team is ready to support your loved one, providing the compassionate care they need for whatever lies ahead. From physical and occupational therapy to individualized long-term support, discover the ways Sandstone provides compassionate care for all at sanstonehealth.com.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mix of clouds and sunshine for us here this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms possible this afternoon and into tonight. Highs near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms Wednesday. Best chance and most numerous as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Highs tomorrow near 80. Thursday, mix of clouds and sun. Still a chance for a few showers and storms. Highs Thursday afternoon, low 80s. Sunshine for Friday, upper 70s to near 80. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Macy's. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's hottest summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 15% off your next service. Use promo code Summer Sale when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview.
There's like a cue to call here.
And iHeart radio station.
When did those come
Now,
back?
your chance at $1,000 and
No, I just noticed it.
text the nationwide keyword LUCKY to 200.
Oh, it's the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's LUCKY to 200-200.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
Back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. You're driving around out there right now. It's getting a little stormy outside the Ingles studio. How's it in Mullet Manor? You safe, you warm?
I only have one window where I can see the sky, and it's not blue. It's kind of a hazy gray.
Yeah, well, if it's not raining now, it'll be coming your way shortly. So just buckle in there. It's going to be raining for the next couple of days, actually. Tomorrow we've got an off day. And so the afternoon's free for me to go hang out at the pool. Thanks for raining. Awesome. Thunderstorms in the forecast all day tomorrow.
Sweet.
Well. Yay! But programming note, we have Braves baseball here tomorrow. 1:35, I believe, is the first pitch time for the two-game series with the Boston Red Sox up at Fenway Park. First game is tonight, and you'll hear it right here on 92.9. Now, talking about secondaries in the NFL, continuing our off-season coverage here, post-draft and everything, all training camps and the OTA. Are OTAs still going on? Are we still actively in OTAs now?
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't pay attention to OTAs, so I know there are still people around the facility. I don't know if
I know last week we were doing practices and stuff, but I haven't seen any updates this week if we're still doing those or not, or if those are taking the hiatus or whatever. Doesn't really matter until actual training camps begin. But as we're looking ahead to the season, we're looking at all the best position groups in the NFL. Today's secondaries. Jeremy's happy today's secondaries because he gets to talk about his favorite team immediately.
The New York Football Jets.
Do you have a name for this defense yet?
Evil. Dream ruiner. How many teams
need to work on those? But okay.
How many teams in the NFL have 3 top 15 corners in the same secondary? It's but one. It's but only one, and it's mine. By the way, they have one of the best linebacking corps in the league and one of the best defensive lines too. So it's a beautiful day in Florham Park, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine?
The New York Jets with Sauce Gardner is the best in the league. Has been since he was drafted.
Is there even a corner that you can debate that? Like, is there anybody you could even go, I'm going to stump for who? No. Pat Surtain? He's in the ballpark. Trent McDuffie's in the ballpark. There's only one that I look at and go, oh, by the way, have you heard the rumor that now he's begging Robert Saleh to let him chase number one receivers?
Let's go.
Saleh plays a lot of zone, so he plays reactionary defense a lot. But sometimes they'll bait you into a sense of security, and then next thing you know, Sauce is playing man, and oops, that play that got blowed up real good.
Well, when you have a guy that can do it, you might want to figure out a way to utilize that in the game plan. That's all Sauce is asking for. He's just asking for the opportunity. I love him. I've loved him since the draft process. His attitude of I'm the best, I'm coming in, I'm going to be the best. And he did. He came in and he backed it up, and now there's nobody in the league that can touch him. Back in the day, 5-6 years ago, maybe some of these other guys that are household names, that would have been a discussion. Guys like Jalen Ramsey and Marshawn Lattimore and guys that we used to have at the top. Maybe they would have been in the Sauce discussion, but as it sits right now, I don't think there's really anybody in that discussion. It's Sauce Gardner, number one, and then everybody else is fighting for tier number 2.
He's special. And I'm so glad that he's mine. He's mine. And none of the rest
then
of
you throw in DJ Reed on the other side. And then you throw in Michael Carter in the slot, which I was unaware that Michael Carter was as good of a slot corner as the stats and the formulaics say that he is.
Number one slot corner in the league. Is not even close. There are 6 heavy metrics. Yards per catch allowed, catches allowed, touchdowns allowed, yards of separation, and I can't remember the other two. Would you like to hear the list of slot corners that beat him in any of those last year?
Tell me.
Would you like to hear it again? He was number 1 in all 6. I thought that was the dumbest draft pick in the history of time when we made it. And I'm okay. That's why Joe D does this and I do this. So we're good.
PFF says he gave up 0.62 yards per coverage snap in 2023. 0.62 yards per coverage snap.
That's 2 feet for those of you that are not good at the maths.
So between those three, no other team in the league comes close to their corner room.
Not for me. And then safety-wise, they've just got a lot of them. I don't know that any of them are great. They're good enough.
Yeah, they're not. They're not great.
I like Ashton Davis a lot. He came on aggressively last year, and now you add Chuck Clark back into that. Yeah, I think we're going to be just fine.
How do you feel about Tony Adams?
A lot of Jet fans like him better than I do. I mean, I don't think he's bad. He's a jag. He's just
really?
a guy.
Okay. All right.
And oddly enough, that's not a shot because so am I. Jeremy.
He's one of those that he made a couple of plays last year. I in that secondary that stood out to me, and I went, okay, I could see why Jet fans would really like
Robert Saleh loves him, and I hope it doesn't come off as though I'm taking shots. I've been looking at every team in the league, and there's a lot of these teams like yours that have really good safeties, and I go, man, I wish we had just one of those. I don't need two. I just need one.
Oh, you used to have one of ours.
Yeah, you can have him back. Yeah, you can have him back.
Jordan Whitehead is who we're talking about. If you're not keeping up there,
Jordan Whitehead
so he left us, went to the Jets, and now he's back with us after being with the Jets.
He was the zebra stripe gum of the 2023 NFL season. He had 3 interceptions in the first game. Didn't have another one all year.
Nope. And I told you that was going to happen.
You were right.
Because that was more interceptions than he had in his entire career.
No, it tied it. He had 3. He had 3 in that game, and he has none since.
Excuse me, my bad. He tied his career total in that game.
Yes. For me, the Jets are they're just one. That's who it is.
Yeah, the no-fly zone 2, part 2.0.
Oh, we should. That should
y'all
be.
Y'all got to come up with something like this.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not in charge of it because anything I would come up with would be vulgar, and it would probably be about somebody's mother. Because that's how I feel about this defense. We will hurt your feelings if we have even a competent offense, and I think we do.
New York Jets at number 1. At number 2 in the best secondaries for 2024.
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. Headlined by Denzel Ward.
The analytics don't love them as much. Look, Greg, and I think it's biased because they had injuries, and so there were issues, and you had guys playing out of position. When you have them running base nickel with Ward on the 1, Emerson playing outside on the 2, Greg Newsome in the slot, they're the only one that I would even listen to with the Jets because 1, 2, 3, you're close. It's just I would take the Jet guys just a notch above all 3 of them. But it's still really good.
Safeties for Cleveland. I know you're not big on Grant Delpit, but he's better than you thought he was, isn't he?
No, he's about what I thought he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll do what you ask him to do every once in a while, and then he'll have the coverage laps where you go, there it is. That's the fella I
remember
saw.
that guy.
I remember. Oh, tape doesn't lie, and that file's still on my computer. Nope. But I mean, look, Cleveland, it always helps your secondary if you've got a front that is elite. And I think the Jets and the Browns both have fronts that are elite. Because you take the talent, and now I'm going to be getting the quarterback so quick that the quarterback has to make quicker throws, quicker decisions. And it allows guys like Sauce. I think Sauce is going to have a special year. I think Denzel Ward is going to have a special year. He was hurt all year last year, and he was still a bottom end one. And that was playing at what I think was at best 70%. I think Cleveland's defense is going to be even better this year than it was last year.
Yeah, and that's hard to do because that team was absolutely nasty last year. And another one of, I don't need you to do much offensively. As long as I can get you to get me 17 points a game, I'm going to feel okay about where we're at. So if they can ever figure it out, offensively speaking, then they could be absolutely terrifying.
Now, I do want to say something, and I want to put a pin in it just because back-satisfied Browns fan is trying to be a humbleman, and I appreciate that. He said we shouldn't be ahead of the Eagles. Yes, you should, and I'll tell you why when we get to the Eagles. It's not going to take that long. There is something about that defense that y'all seem to be forgetting, and I told Tank this before the show. I said, you mark my words. I will get the Jets out of my mouth, and people will start talking about the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that you shouldn't. But we'll get there.
We'll get there. At number 3.
This one's going to come as a surprise to some people, and I don't think it should. It's Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. With the upgrades that they have made here.
I think you're about to see a defense. And look, Dubs, Anthony Weaver is a guy that I've known for quite some time. I believe in him a lot. And I think he is so much better of a fit in Miami than Vic Fangio ever thought of being. Mm-hmm. That's one of those times that a coach left Miami, went to a spot where he fits way better, and Miami replaced him with a guy that fits way better because that defense is young. They're having to replace guys because the team is so expensive. Vic Fangio hates young dudes. Hates them. Which that might be uncovering why I'm not as wild about Philadelphia as you think I would be.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fit there. And Javon Holland, you and I were talking about this before the show. Who's the best safety in the NFL? You're going Antoine Winfield? I'll go Javon Holland.
Yep. Antoine Winfield's one, but Javon Holland's close.
Javon Holland is the most athletic player in the NFL, and I'm not even really sure who's competing with him. With the size, the speed, the aggressiveness, all of it. I hate that he is in my division because I absolutely love him, and I have to hate him 2 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Miami's biggest thing is going to be injuries, right?
Well, they're thin.
Keeping Jalen Ramsey healthy is primo, just as it was when he was in L.A., because you don't have a lot behind him. And, you brought in Jordan Poyer, who, I feel like he's played 6 games in the last 4 years.
He's played more than that. He hasn't been hurt as often as you think, but he's also really talented.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not asking him to do as much in Miami as Buffalo did.
Mm-hmm.
The underrated part of this is Kendall Fuller. Kendall Fuller is a massive improvement over Xavier Howard. And then you've got Kader Kohu playing out of the slot where you can use his ability to blitz and the things that actually got him into this league. I love what Miami's doing, and I love the fits. This makes sense. I don't know what you're going to do with pass rushers. That would scare me to death if I was a fan of the Dolphins. But you did add Shaq Barrett. If Bradley Chubb comes back and Jalen Phillips comes back and you've got Chop Robinson, that's a lot of dudes to throw at this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that defense could be low-key really, really, really good.
That they could.
I also think Jalen Ramsey was another one of those like Denzel Ward. He was hurt last year. He never really felt like he came back to me. He was playing really far off of guys. And look, I've watched that kid since he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how he plays. So I think a full off season, hopefully no hiccups. I don't know that definitively, but I haven't heard anything. To me, those are the top 3, and then there's a pretty significant drop-off.
Pretty significant drop-off coming up to the team at number 4. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll take a quick break, and we'll continue with the top 13 NFL secondaries for 2024 after this.
Hi, we're Comparing Insurance Agency. Right now, you can...
Clear.
Never heard of them.
So I just figured something out.
You have no idea that comparing insurance.
What's that?
The lag.
So to help it stick, we're going to say.
You know, sometimes we would get a lag with the video.
Go. Our local agents.
It's coming off the recording.
Our local agents offer insurance from top.
I stopped recording it, and it's running like it used to. So I've got something screwed up, but I don't know where.
Comparing Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
And there's number 4.
And I guess I could just rip it. It's not like I don't have access to that.
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist.
You could.
Pharmacist. Huh, you don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV.
I wonder if I should go back to Restream.
Get your own RV,
use Restream and then put it in the cloud.
Wow, interesting.
That way I wouldn't have to record it.
Save money by bundling it with your home.
My CPU usage hasn't gone over 4% since I stopped recording. Even with the exit.
Hear that?
Oh, if that's what the problem is, that is going to
sound of your life.
Piss me off.
Perfectly imperfect.
I mean, like, that's going to ex-wife level
to the world you've created.
Perturb me.
But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Join the MB Haynes family and enjoy excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and life insurance, 401k, employee stock ownership program, holidays, and paid vacation. MB Haynes has an immediate need for HVAC commercial service techs, plumbing, and electrical technicians. If you're ready to make a career change that positively impacts your workday and your time off, go to mbhaynes.com/careers to view available positions and apply. That's mbhaynes.com/careers. MB Haynes. Quality, commitment, character.
If cleanliness is
all right, everybody watching the stream, don't freak out. I'm about to I'm going to test this and see if this actually was the problem. And then I'm going to yell obscenities with my mic muted if it was.
To make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville.
Houston, we have found the problem.
Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag.
By the way, I forgot a team, so my 5 changes. Top 4 stays the same, but 5 changes.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Top 13 secondaries for 2024 in the NFL. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. This is the Sportsocracy. And at number 4, you say there's a big gap between the Jets, Cleveland, Miami, and this team. Who's number 4, Flostradamus?
Well, the top 3 teams I said don't have a hole per se. They don't have a spot where I look at them and go, that's where I'm going to attack you. Because they all have solid corners. They all have guys that can blitz. They all have a lot of talent. My 4 is the Baltimore Ravens. Because they have the best pair of safeties in the league. Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton, and I don't even know it's all that close. They also have a linebacker that can cover as well as any linebacker in the league. It's Brandon Stevens. And if you're telling me it's Nate Wiggins, I like that even less. I think that second spot is a problem for them. Now, ultimately, I think you probably play Nate Wiggins out of the slot to start. Stevens will play on the outside, and then eventually you'll move Nate Wiggins to the outside. There's talent there. I look at that and go, well, that's not hard for me to figure out where I'm going with the ball on a pretty consistent basis. But you can't undervalue how talented they are.
That's the problem I had with them, is that I believe so much not only in the safeties, as you said, best tandem of safeties in the league.
By a lot.
But then you throw in the coaching. You throw in, you have a star in Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest are just really decent pieces.
Well, and here's the thing. The other thing that Baltimore gets the benefit of the doubt with me. If any other team had come into this draft and said Nate Wiggins was our number one corner, I would have laughed until I peed my pants. Okay, tell me you're lying without telling me you're lying. If Baltimore says that and they actually mean it, okay, then to you that was the best guy for this system. I don't see that. But if you do, your hit record with you is real high. Mm-hmm. And if Nate Wiggins turns into that second corner, then they should probably be 2. Because that safety tandem is way better than anything anybody else has. I think Marcus Williams is a top 6 safety in the league. Kyle Hamilton is my 2. Because I go Javon Holland, Kyle Hamilton, Antoine Winfield Jr. And the only reason I don't have Winfield higher is because the other 2 can do everything. Mm-hmm. Winfield is not as good in coverage as the other 2. He will kill you if you allow him to. And God rest your soul if you let him come on a blitz where he's untouched, because I've seen that a couple times. Mm-hmm. And it don't go so hot.
He may not be able to keep you from catching the ball, but after you catch the ball, there are few in the league that are more frightening than Antoine Winfield.
Yes, he will hurt your soul. He will hurt your life.
Right, not only will he smack you in the mouth, but he's also got that whole peanut punch thing. He's got that about down.
He'll also laugh at you as you lay on the field and cry. As you nurture your ruptured jejunum.
All right, so Baltimore coming in at number 4, and then at number 5.
All right, I have to give a fait accompli. I forgot about this team in my initial ranking, so when Tank and I went through this, I don't know why they slipped. Well, that's not true. I do know why they slipped. I was checking my work against PFF, and PFF absolutely hates this team. It's the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans has a lot of pieces. I have a fear that your pass rush is not good enough, and it's really going to put a lot of that on blast. I need Marshawn Lattimore to be better than he was last year. If he gets back to who he was even 2 years ago, then they belong here. If I catch out of Marshawn Lattimore what I got last year, not so much. I mean, PFF didn't have him in the top 32 corners in the league. That, to me, is insane. But then you look at a Debo, I think you're going to get better out of Alontae Taylor. I liked him.
Is it coming now? Is this the year?
Look,
I feel
Saint
like
fans
we keep
love
saying
him.
that every year.
Saint fans love him. I don't really know why, but they, based off what you've seen. Now, if you loved him coming in and you listened to us for the draft and we got you hyped up on how athletic he was and all those things, the results on the field have not been great. But then you factor in Tyrann Mathieu and all the different pieces. They belong up here. I'm a little skeptical on Marshawn Lattimore. Am I the only one in that, or do you?
No, you're not. I wonder if that's more name now than anything. Right. That's why I mentioned him in the group of. Well, these guys used to be the best in the league. Lattimore and Tre'Davious White and Jalen Ramsey and all those guys. When we were talking about Sauce Gardner, like those guys might have been in the discussion for best in the league with Sauce 5-6 years ago.
I mean, Lattimore was a top 2 corner in the league 2 years ago. So,
right, but we've had, they're all aged now.
How old is Marshawn Lattimore?
Was last year the beginning of the downfall for him? He's what, 29, 30?
He's 28 and just turned 28 like a week ago.
Did he really?
Yes. He was really young when he came in the league. I think he's fine. I mean, I'm not betting my house on it because he's had 2 up and down years in a row. There's been injury things. I'm not saying he's regressed. That's not really the point of what I'm talking about. I don't know that he's going to get back to where we were. And for them to be this high, he needs to get there because he needs to be the one. Because I don't trust a Debo or Alontae Taylor or any combination of any of that to be a 1. That's why I have them at 5. And I will totally blame PFF for that's why I didn't have the Saints on the list to begin with. And I've been looking at this list going, I'm forgetting somebody, and I don't know who it is.
And it was New Orleans.
It was New Orleans.
With their hope, with a couple of rookies, Kool-Aid and McKinstry, now joining that secondary, as well as the next era.
Now Kool-Aid, look, and I didn't even factor Kool-Aid in. I'll go ahead and I did not even factor him in because I don't know what I don't know what you're going to get there. I didn't love him coming out. I still don't love him. But I have seen Dennis Allen work with corners that played the way Kool-Aid does, and it works. So that's there. I need to address something in the YouTube chat, too. Vincent Collier asked, so are we counting entire defenses or just secondaries and performances from last year or on paper? This is how I would have them graded right now, and it's only the secondary. The only ancillary thing that I did take into account occasionally was like Roquan Smith with the Baltimore Ravens. He plays in coverage so often, and they send Kyle Hamilton so often that they almost become like de facto. I don't want to say Roquan's playing safety and Kyle's playing linebacker because that's not it. They almost fill in for each other enough that I feel like I could use Roquan 7th in the pecking order of things I'm looking at. In large part, it's just the secondary, but if it was close, and for me, it was close the more I thought about this with Baltimore and New Orleans, I gave Baltimore the benefit of the doubt. But that's a good question. I did not explain that. So,
top 5 secondaries for 2024. The New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, Miami Dolphins, Baltimore Ravens, and the New Orleans Saints. You want to do one more before the break, or you want to take a break and then how you want to do this?
We can do one more.
All right, let's do one more. Let's go number 6 on your list.
Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans. Weird how we've done 2 of these now, and the Tennessee Titans have been in the top 13 in both of them.
I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm going to level with you about Tennessee. If Will Levis becomes what I think he can become, they are the best value on the board to go over their win total. The problem is their schedule is evil. And I don't know where the wins are going to come in. But I'm just looking at two corners on the outside in L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie. Awuzie was a top 20 corner a year ago. Wasn't great last year, but now he's the 2. And you got Roger McCreary as the 3. That's pretty good. In terms of just, if I'm looking at 3 corners going, let's say they all 3 hit the high side, you might be the only team that has 3 top 15 corners in the league other than the Jets.
Could be incredible.
Because I love Roger McCreary. Mm-hmm. And now that you're telling me he's going to run predominantly out of the slot, that's not bad. Now,
I don't know. I mean, is there another team that did more for themselves in the offseason than Tennessee when it comes to the playmakers on defense and offense? I mean, think about what they put together with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, with DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver, and then you go the flip side with the corners, with adding L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, they might be one of the most improved teams in that category.
Eat and Sleep Football asked Titans over the Chiefs. Okay, Trent McDuffie is, I would say he and L'Jarius Sneed are right on par with each other. I would take McDuffie a little bit ahead of him, but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
Next 3 go to Tennessee. Because I can't trust anybody in that secondary as much as I – now, look, you don't have to wait long on Kansas City. But that was my justification of how I got him here. And then you've got Malik Hooker in the backside. I wish they still had Kevin Byard. I know it didn't go particularly well at the end with Philadelphia, but frankly, what defensive player looked at last year for the Philadelphia Eagles and went, that's a banner year for me? I like Byard in Chicago a lot.
Yeah. Sneed, McCreary, Awuzie. It's a pretty good threesome to throw out there for your cornerback room Tennessee Titans coming in at number 6 on the top 13 NFL secondaries for 2024. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen
Clear
forecast.
I think we have breaking news coming back.
Asheville.
Mix of clouds and sunshine for us here this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms possible this afternoon and into tonight. Highs near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms Wednesday. Best chance and most numerous as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Highs tomorrow near 80. Thursday, mix of clouds and sun. Still a chance for a few showers and storms. Highs Thursday afternoon, low 80s. Sunshine for Friday, upper 70s to near 80. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Hurry in now to Apple Tree Superstore for deals on the full lineup of 2024 Hondas, including the CR-V, the HR-V, and Civic. Apple Tree Superstore is committed to offering you professional service and a great experience. Shop online at appletreesuperstore.com and in person, I-26 and Airport Road, Asheville.
Keep listening for the next chance.
Is this the McCaffrey deal?
iHeartRadio Music Festival,
yes.
presented by Capital One.
A weekend full of superstar performances this September.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale Friday, June 14th.
But starting June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's hottest summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 15% off your next service. Use promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Tuesday, July 30th, Orange Peel Events presents Chevelle. Get your tickets now online at the Orange Peel.
I have a quick outside, so we can do that. We'll do outside quick, come back with breaking, and then we'll do the end of the secondary.
Don't miss Chevelle.
All right, yeah, I'll just let you go with the weird.
Weird. That is the one we do in the second hour.
Yes.
Flowers come into bloom. It is like a field of dreams. Hi, I'm Belinda.
Do you want to do breaking news and then your weird story? Or vice versa?
Ingles has really brought
I don't care.
awareness
Whichever one.
to locally grown flowers. And they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers.
All right, we'll do weird first.
Of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though, we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Jeremy, it's time to get weird, and I'm afraid to ask. You sounded so excited about this story, and usually when you're excited about your weird story, it's real weird.
So mine's from Commerce City, Colorado. Victim, whose name was not given, he was shot, but all he had was a minor abrasion. Care to take a stab at why that happened? He got shot. It hit him flush. It did not like graze him or anything like that. It hit him flush, straight on in the neck, and all he had was a little cut.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
The bullet got lodged in his chain.
Oh.
They can't figure out what this chain is made out of. It's not silver. It's not gold because both of those are too soft.
It's got to be adamantium.
I don't know what it is. It's a very it's like a woven chain, and it's got little holes in between the metal. Well, apparently, somehow, whoever shot him, there was an argument that commenced. Person shoots him. Bullet lodged in the chain, hit him in the neck just enough to puncture the skin, but it got hung. And so I'm looking at a picture of the chain that they took off of him when they stitched up the puncture wound. It's a little bullet. I don't know what kind of gun shoots a bullet that little, but it's smaller than a 9mm. And it's stuck right in between the two pieces of metal, like right to the back of the casing. They were stunned. So onlookers saw this guy get shot and just assumed he was dead because he went down and then got back up.
And at that point, that's where I start running. Like, oh, God, the zombies are
Zombies! Here. Zombie! No! I've read these books. I don't like how this goes.
This is where Tank stands on the street corner going, this is a superhero moment. This is the rise. This is the rise of the next superhero.
Oh, no doubt. Iron Man.
Shot, point blank.
We have replaced Tony Stark, and it's this fella right. I'll go ahead and tell you, after I cleaned the poo out of my pants, I would have run the opposite direction. Dude gets shot point blank and then just sits up like the Undertaker. Nope. I am not sticking around to see how this goes.
No, I don't think so.
And the bad thing for the shooter, just because he was wearing a chain, it doesn't change the fact that he was arrested and cited for attempted homicide.
Well,
I mean, if it was in Chicago, they would have just been like, hey, you hit the target, you win. Here's the key to the city. Go shoot more people, because that's what we do here.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. All right,
it's
let's
sad because
get
it's
into
true.
it this time. It's also very, very true. You know what's not sad? Breaking news.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
It's breaking news time, Jeremy Greene.
The sheer fact that you met a woman that was willing to see you naked on a regular basis just never. Every time I see that dance, it just dumbfounds me. Andy, she's a saint. Yep. Christian McCaffrey, he is slightly richer, and he has reset the running back market. 2-year, $38 million extension with the San Francisco 49ers.
$19 million a year for a running back. A lot of people have said, Jeremy Greene, that it can't work when you're paying your running back that much. But when your team's this good, making, he was making what, $17 million before?
It's $8 million in new money, $24 million in new guarantee.
Okay.
Well, but you say how good this team is.
Yes.
You looked at that roster? It doesn't look nearly as impressive as it used to. The offensive line, not nearly as good as it was.
No.
Receiving core, man, you better hope nobody gets hurt. Christian McCaffrey gets hurt. Good luck. And then on the defense, every position is just a little weaker than it used to be.
Mm-hmm. A little weaker, a little thinner. That's what happens when you have to pay big money. You paid Deebo Samuel big money. You're going to pay Brock Purdy big money. You're going to be paying Brandon Ayuk big money if you don't figure out what to do with that.
Well, I mean, San Francisco for me is just, it's not that hard to figure out. I mean, if you look at their cap ledger over the next handful of years, do you know how much cap space San Francisco has next year? Oh, by the way, this is without Brandon Ayuk, and this is without an extension on Brock Purdy. How much money do they have next year?
$7 million.
Too high.
4.
Too high.
1.8.
You're not even close.
$57, Bob.
It starts with negative. So let's try that and see if you can get a little closer.
Negative $26 million.
They're $42 million over the salary cap before they sign Brandon Ayuk, before they give an extension to Brock Purdy. That was before the extension on Christian McCaffrey, too. They only have $55 million in 2026, which is when Purdy's new deal would kick in. I'm just telling you, the math doesn't work. I've seen teams do this. If you can draft well and replace these guys, that's all well and good. They don't.
Mm-hmm. It costs a lot of money to be good in the NFL.
I have never said San Francisco was going to crash off a mountain. Never once has that come out of my mouth. I have said this will be a slow burn until it's not. And then you're going to have one of those injury-rattled years, and the next thing you know, you're 5-12 with Brock Purdy throwing to Ricky Pearsall and Logan Thomas.
We've got a window. We've been in it for 4 years. It's the end of the window is coming. And this is the signal that we have 2 years. We have 2 years to really hit this and get it done.
Your 2 years sounds awful similar to my this year. Do I need to re-reference that your $42 million over the cap thing? Should I also mention that you've moved the numbers around so much that you only have a handful of deals that could save you $1? It's an expensive, top-heavy roster.
Mm-hmm. That it is, and $19 million for Christian McCaffrey. And notice nobody said, is he worth it?
If he plays 17 games, he's worth it. He's the only running back in the NFL.
No doubt.
Because he's every bit the receiver. He's every bit the receiver, blocking back, decoy that he is running back. And I would say he's the best at all of them in the NFL.
And he's the key that really unlocks Brock Purdy. You see those games without Christian McCaffrey? Brock Purdy was in there. It didn't look so hot. What was that, 2 weeks last year? When they were missing Christian McCaffrey? They had no Christian McCaffrey, had no Trent Williams. And they lost, 3 games in a row? And everybody went, oh, my God, what's happening?
They have 7 elite players, and they're missing 3 of them. That's what happened.
Yeah, you have to have all of the elite players. Yeah, Debo was out for that stretch as well.
By the way, we had a super chat for that. We have to give love to Soaring Eagle. Yeah! He was the one that said, Tank, hit your button for our alert to the breaking news.
Indeed.
So thank you for that.
Thank you for staying on top of the breaking news with us here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We're going down the top 13 NFL secondaries for 2024. We left off at 7.
Yes, this will be 7.
The Tennessee Titans were number 6. You're number 7.
The Seattle Sea Chickens.
Okay. We know they have a tandem of great corners, or not great corners. We'll see really good young corners.
I was about to say, you could stick with great. I'm good
Maybe
with
not
great.
Great just yet. Are they great? Is Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, are they great?
Witherspoon was the 6th best corner in the league last year as a rookie. He's a dog. And I think Reek will have a bounce back year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's going to get burned because he cheats a lot. But he's really, really good. And he can deal with big receivers, which very few guys can do.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Jackson, who, we were talking smack about before the show because his name's Michael Jackson, and that's funny. He was really good last year, too.
And then Julian Love as a safety, how you feel about him?
Him and Rayshon Jenkins. They're fine. It's now that kind of goes to the point I was trying to make. They're also converting Kobe Bryant to a safety. So he's going to play free under Mike McDonald, and if anybody could make that work, it would be him. I liked Kobe Bryant coming out. He's just been really clunky as a pro so far.
Yeah. All right, number 8.
This is where we get to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Seems low.
Okay, so explain to me why this feels low.
Well, I mean,
it was the worst damn team in the NFL defensively last year.
Sure.
I feel like this is a weird hill for people to die on, but okay.
But that's also, but it's also 2 years ago they were one of the best.
Okay.
So is that talent based? Is that coaching based? Is it a blip year?
Okay, so let me
hard
just
to say they lost it in a year.
Well, the only person who I can poke holes in your argument is you, because people in the chat only say things, and then it's almost like Mike Tyson. They just stick and move. So you were telling me Marshawn Lattimore could be over the hill. He's 3 full years younger than James Bradbury.
Okay.
I don't think you're coming back. That's the problem.
Right.
I can't stand Avonte Maddox. That's your slot guy. Darius Slay, I've told you for years how overrated I thought he was. Because, yes, he is big play Slay. The problem is he gives up a lot of big plays, too. And then you get the two rookies. I love Quinyon Mitchell. If he played for any defensive coordinator in the NFL that wasn't Vic Fangio, I would be banging the drum that he was going to be Rookie of the Year. Problem is Vic Fangio hates rookies. Hates them. So if you told me he played less than 300 snaps this year, I wouldn't be surprised. Same thing with Cooper DeJean. And then you get C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who I don't really know how he fits in with what I've ever seen Vic Fangio do, because he wants two high safeties. Reed Blankenship's fine, but I'm not jumping up and down about it. The talent's there. I feel like people are really locking on to the two rookies. And I got 30 years of experience with Vic Fangio that say, if that's what you're holding your hat to, you're not going to like how this goes.
Right.
He makes guys earn playing time to an obnoxious level. That was one of the problems that he had in Miami, was that they had so many young guys, and he was using these just bum veterans over top of them. It really became a problem in the locker room. Philadelphia has a strong enough veteran base that I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm not as in love with Slay and Bradbury. I think that's who James Bradbury is. You take away that 1 year that he was really good, which was 2020. He had a pretty good year in 2022. Other than that, he's been what he was last year. He's not this great corner. He just has this really great way of somehow becoming way better than he is before he's due to get paid. And I don't necessarily see the bounce back coming at 31 years old.
All right, number 9.
Now, I will also say, when your front is that good, your secondary just have to be that good because they have a lot of dudes. Number 9 for me is the Green Bay Packers. Jair Alexander and Eric Stokes, when healthy, should be a top 5 tandem in the league. Do you hear how many qualifying words I had to put on that? That's my problem.
Should be living up to the potential. Should be healthy.
How many snaps did Eric Stokes play all year last year?
Oh, it weren't many.
It's less than 115. It's hard for me to count on. He legit played 2 games last year. If he was healthy and I knew that definitively, then I would feel better. I like Nixon coming off the slot. He's just a phenomenal return guy. But I don't know. I trust Xavier McKinney. I trust Jair Alexander. The rest of it just feels like I have to put 58 qualifiers on it.
Okay.
And you've got a coordinator coming in here who, yeah, he's not Joe Barry, but you don't know that he's great either. And that's coming from probably the biggest Jeff Hafley fan on the planet. I thought he was going to be a big boy college coach, head coach. And I'll go ahead and say this. I think there's a great chance he's an NFL head coach one day. But I don't know that it's going to start great.
No. All right, number 10.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Trent McDuffie's real good at football.
Yes.
I kind of run into the same thing with Kansas City that I run into with Green Bay. I trust you because you've been good for a really long time. Who's the other guy I really count on? Like outside of Trent McDuffie, who's the guy you go, I know he's awesome. I loved Joshua Williams coming out. But do I feel awesome about that?
In the whole secondary or
I hate their
just
safeties.
The corners?
I don't like either one of their safeties.
You don't like Cook?
No.
Okay.
I never did. I mean, my problem with Brian Cook has been, and probably always will be, he's lead-footed. And so when you've got L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, that's not that big a deal because I got 2 guys that I just, you know what, your guy. Now I'm counting on 2 young guys in Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. Ooh. Now, I do think this is a very modern-day defense where your best corner's in the slot. So you come up against the Detroit Lions, the Jets. A lot of teams play their best wide receiver out of the slot. Mm-hmm. Bengals do it a lot with Jamar Chase too. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. They do it some with Jamar Chase.
But even though the young guys there's a lot of potential there.
No doubt.
I really like Watson. I really like Williams. I do like Cook when I watch him play. I just don't know if there's any consistency to the group beyond Trent. Number 11.
The Houston Texans. Okay. This is the first one that I'm going to have to legitimately maybe defend. I will laugh until my dying day that the Houston Texans took Derek Stingley over Sauce Gardner. By the way, just think about how good this defense would be if they'd taken Sauce instead of Stingley. I can't get that out of my head. I just keep thinking about it of good God, they would haunt your nightmares with Sauce Gardner. Stingley was really good towards the end of last year. I like the safeties. I think Jalen Petry's really going to come into his own this year. I don't know what you're going to get out of Jeff Okudah. That's kind of the toss-up for me. If you can get legit play out of him, which I have seen off and on, it's just not that consistent. And if you don't, then you got Kamari Lassiter, who was your first pick in this past draft. He's not very straight line fast, but I see how he fits into that defense. The thing you got to be careful with any of these, the disciples of San Francisco, it's all about how they fit that defense, not necessarily how good they are. Michael Carter would probably not start on any team in the NFL on the outside. You put him in that solid defense, that D'Amico Ryans defense, dog. And I think Kamari Lassiter's kind of the same way.
All right, top 13 NFL secondaries for 2024. We're running out of time here. We'll catch it up on the top side of the next hour here. We're going to take our top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the top 13. We'll give you some honorable mentions. And then it'll be time for another session of summer scouting with that ESPN draft nerd, Jeremy Greene, as we look at the best wide receivers and tight ends going into this college football season, who's on the radar for the 2025 NFL draft. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This Father's Day,
we're clear.
We're talking ball catchers, y'all.
That pay tribute to the lost from handcrafted
ball catchers and ball swatters.
To durable.
Hey, will you do me a favor?
Gear. Our in-store experts can guide you.
Yeah.
We got a minute here, right?
And helping you navigate.
Yeah.
Will you go back in Pete's old office? My leather bag should be in there. I need to know where that external hard drive is.
Seasons change.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Right now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online,
I saw every bit of that, just so you know.
You'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time.
Y'all can't see this because the screen's up there, but Tank decided to look on my shelf back behind him and knocked off like 7 things that he thought I couldn't see. And I watched him put them back together like a little kid hoping mommy didn't see it.
Using nothing but willpower and skill, battling the power of 11,000 horses that run hot, risking it all for a 3-second ride. Be a part of the action at the Super Grip NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals at Bristol Dragway. Free parking and general admission for kids 12 and under this weekend at the Super Grip NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals.
This is the best time for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, backs, or hips are hurting. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk and run and hike and play golf and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop.
I don't see no leather bag in there.
Live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at Clarissa Sells WNC.
Found it.
It's below my feet.
Did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers?
Hot.
Yeah, sorry.
We're giving back 25%.
Hey, you were the one talking about how important walking was. I was just promoting your health.
828-774-63.
Nice save.
Or Clarissa Sells WNC at gmail.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mixing clouds and sunshine for us here this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms possible this afternoon and into tonight. Highs near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms Wednesday. Best chance and most numerous as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Highs tomorrow near 80. Thursday, mix of clouds and sun. Still a chance for a few showers and storms. Highs Thursday afternoon, low 80s. Sunshine for Friday, upper 70s to near 80. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Hurry in now to Apple Tree Superstore for deals on the full lineup of 2024 Hondas, including the CRV, the HRV, and Civic. Apple Tree Superstore is committed to offering you professional service and a great experience. Shop online at appletreesuperstore.com and in person, I-26 and Airport Road, Asheville.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local.
No cue here.
And there's number 4.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK,
10 for.
W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City.
No, shoot.
It's gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
It's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube, so you can watch me almost vomit on the microphone as before I. Nice.
If they were seeing what I could see, they would
over and saw that visual. That wasn't pretty.
If they were watching this, the feed that I get, they would have seen you just wipe that shelf out during the break.
Yes.
And think I couldn't see it because you thought it was off camera, but it wasn't.
Yeah, well, you know.
You look like a little kid that was hoping you could clean something up before mommy noticed.
That's usually how I live my life because I'm not the I'm not the most suave of people, right? And I bump into manners of things.
I ask him on a daily basis, how do you not fall down more?
Right. If it's sitting on a shelf somewhere and I can, reach it, I'm going to knock it off at some point.
Well, hey, if it makes you feel any better, I am pretty graceful, and I just realized for the last 2 weeks our stream on YouTube has been running really slow, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because you have to connect the hard drive, stupid, which has been sitting beside my foot the entire time.
Yeah. Hey, Tank, during this break, can you run down the hall real quick and go check in that other office? I think I left it in there. No, I didn't see it, Jeremy.
If it was a snake, it would probably have already eaten me.
Oh, it's at my feet.
It's at my big hoof.
Welcome into the Tuesday edition of the program. If you're just joining us, a happy Tuesday to you. Tomorrow, hump day, we will not be here. Braves baseball tomorrow afternoon. The Braves getting ready to start a short 2-game series here up at Fenway Park tonight with the Boston Red Sox. So tonight, 7:05, start on ESPN Asheville tomorrow afternoon. I believe it's a 1:10 start.
1:35.
Pregame will begin at 1:20 then.
Yeah, you do that.
1:35 start, 15-minute pregame, so 1:20 start tomorrow afternoon here on ESPN Asheville for the Braves and the Red Sox in the closer of that shorty series. We're wrapping up the coverage of the top 13 secondaries for 2024 in the NFL. If you're just getting in a car, on your way home, it feels like every day when I leave here at 3 o'clock, that's the new rush hour. What has happened? I know you're not experiencing this because you've been at home.
I just put gas in my car for the first time in 7 weeks.
You've been doing the program from Mullet Manor, so you're not out on the roads as much anymore. But when did 3 o'clock become the new 5 o'clock for rush hour is what I'm curious.
So from the balcony of Mullet Manor, because I have a balcony that looks out over the mountains, and it's very pristine. It's quite lovely. I can see 1923. And one of my favorite traditions is after the show, I go out on the balcony, I light a cigar, I pour a scotch, and I watch all of the minions as they go about their lives having to drive to and from work, and I go, man, I am glad I don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's a nice benefit for you. The rest of us have to put up with bull crap.
Well, if I wasn't a complete moron, nobody would even know I was here, because it looks exactly the same now that I figured out, you do have to actually give it power, dum-dum.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Without that, it has no power, and she's giving it all she's got, Captain.
Top 13 secondaries in the league. Started at number 1 with the New York Jets. The no-fly 2.0, whatever we're going to call this. I don't know. We need to come up with something snappy there. Cleveland Browns at 2. The Miami Dolphins at 3. Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans round out the top 5 secondaries. Yes, the Tennessee Titans, they've reloaded if you haven't paid attention. Or I guess this would actually just be the loading of the first time, because their secondary's never really been any good.
It's just been a while.
And then Seattle at 6. Or excuse me, no, I'm sorry, I'm off here.
New Orleans
the
at
original list that you told me. So New Orleans was at 5. Then Tennessee was 6. Seattle 7. Philadelphia at 8. 9 was Green Bay, and 10 was Kansas City.
Yes.
The bottom 3 of the top 13. Number 11 was the Houston Texans. Who's at 12?
The San Francisco 49ers. Javarius Ward's fantastic, and Hufanga is really good. Lenore is really grabby. And then you get to who's 4, and that's a hell of a question you have there. It's like the rest of the roster. If you stay healthy, you should be in the top 6. You have one injury, you would probably be in the bottom 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't have them any higher than that. I feel like that was the team that I said that you went, that's too low.
I mean, they're right in the ballpark.
Them and Philadelphia were the two I said that you gave me a look.
Well, Philadelphia was I'm not throwing out the veterans on Philadelphia just yet. I do feel there's some of that blip year bad coaching last year. James Bradberry and Darius Slay. I mean, hell, they were year before last, it was Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, James Bradberry, Darius Slay were 4 of the top 6, 7 at worst cornerbacks in the league. Last year was terrible for Philadelphia. And I don't know, I feel like we're just automatically chalking up that that's done. They did go and get young talent in the draft, which, you know, we believe highly in here in the Sportsocracy. Quinion Mitchell was the number 1 corner on Flostradamus' draft board. Cooper DeJean was number 1 in many of your hearts in the House of Reprehensibles, because I heard his name mentioned or saw it mentioned in the YouTube chat forever during the draft process. So we know how much we all believe in the young guys there. It'll take some time, but with the veteran presence and the youth movement, I'm higher on Philadelphia than you are. They would be in my top 5 of secondaries.
At the expense of which team that was in mine?
New Orleans. And it's not really close to me. I mean, I get Marshawn's at the top, and he's like better than anybody Philadelphia has. Okay. But I don't really like anything else in that secondary.
Oh, by the way, how old is Darius Slay?
Was he 30?
He's 34.
He's 34? Wow.
Well, he'll be 34 on New Year's Day. He is 33 and a half.
Okay.
Darius Slay had
Still didn't
5.
make it all that much better.
Darius Slay had 5 elite years early. The last 5, would you like to hear where he's ranked among, and this is PFF grade because it's an analytical way that I can do this. I'm not telling you it's flawless. It's just the best way I can put a number on it. Mm-hmm. His PFF grade in the last 5 years, he's been 86, 56, 4, 21, 55. So maybe lose me on how good Darius Slay is. He was good 1 year. And James Bradberry, it ain't much better. So I just don't have the faith in that. Mm-hmm. Now, if you had brought in a coordinator that was Vic Fangio level that didn't just glue rookies to the bench, okay. And you told me you were bringing in DeJean and Quinion Mitchell and Slay was going to play some more out of the slot, and Bradberry would be more of a situational big receiver type corner. Okay, now I get it. I just don't think it's the way it's going to go.
Mm-hmm. San Francisco is the team that we started talking about here, and I mean, you know how I feel about Hufanga. I feel like you leave him out every time you talk about this team doesn't draft well.
I said him.
He is the one, success story that they do have. Of drafting.
And you're not wrong, but let me give you, I love analogies, so I'll give you one. If your wife burnt the kitchen down 7 of the 10 times she cooked, 2 of them were completely inedible, and 1 of them was Michelin star rated, that make her a good cook? No.
Not necessarily. No. Just, I mean, she's got certain things that she does pretty well.
Apparently.
And that's just fine. And that's just fine. Javarius Ward, it's him, Hufanga, and then just a mishmash of dudes for me for San Francisco. And those 2 aren't great. So I don't have any qualms with you having San Francisco secondary at 12. I've said for a while that I feel like that's always a suspect thing of going week in and week out knowing which of these secondaries am I going to get, especially when it comes to Diamador Lenore, because he's a walking curse word. Thank God I'm not a 49ers fan. At number 13,
the Detroit Lions. I don't know how they're all going to play together. In terms of sheer talent, this should be a top 10 secondary. Whether it's going to be or not, I don't know. But by God, you threw everything at it but the kitchen sink. So
well, you went, we don't have dudes, so let's go get dudes. And you did. You brought in Carlton Davis. You've got Emmanuel Mosley. You've got Robertson, who's a veteran presence.
Who I like
We
a
all
lot.
know. We all know how good Branch is. You just drafted another one.
Terry and Arnold.
Yeah. It's the safeties that I go, I'm not sure.
That's the part that you should feel the best about.
Is it?
Melifonwu was a top 10 safety in the league last year. I still look at him and go, how are you a strong safety? Sorry. That irritates me every time I see the way that their defense is lined up, because if you had told me when he came out, that dude's playing free safety exclusively, and I always see him there and just go, that's odd. I like him a lot, and I think Kirby Joseph's going to be just fine. The funny thing is, if I were the defensive coordinator here, I would flip those two, and I think you both would be better. But what do I know?
All right, so the Detroit Lions rounding out the top 13.
Did you have any team that I did not mention?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I had them on the initial list, and I've been supposed to say them for about 6 teams, and I can't find a reason to do it. Sell me on that. And outside of Antoine Winfield, I've already given him his flowers.
Well, see, that's the one. That's the one you go, well, they've got the best safety in the NFL. If you don't think he's the best, then okay, he's a top 3 safety in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And then what?
Because I will only accept Javon Holland or Kyle Hamilton as arguments for that.
Those are the top 3. What order you put them in, frankly, I don't care. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong on any of it.
Jordan Whitehead, no, he wasn't good with the Jets last year, but being back in a system that he won a Super Bowl with, right? I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, grade has never been more than 2 points higher than it was last year. Just throwing that out there.
Was it?
No, he's one of those guys. He's one of those also that is like the example of why I have to give the caveat of why I use PFF, that it is we're friends with the guys. That helps, and I know how much work they do and how much goes into that. There is no way to give you like a Madden rating on a player. That's what they try to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that simple. And Jordan Whitehead is kind of an example of that, specifically in that Super Bowl year. That's the year I remember watching him and just going, my God, that dude seems like he's everywhere.
He is.
And he was only fractionally better that year than he was this past year. It's not a flawless system.
Analytically speaking.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a flawless system.
Right, that's the thing I hate about analytics is that, it's analytics, right? It's numbers, and there's no emotion attached to numbers, and there's also no nuance attached to numbers. I can look at the numbers and go, well, this was, they chalk this one up as a failed assignment. Well, yeah, but I mean, he affected the play in another way. Like, there's no gray area with doing it that way, and there are just some players that fall into that for me. I mean, hell, I feel the same way about, Devin White. He never graded well because he couldn't cover, but the rest of the things that he did were so good. Well, when he was with the team and he didn't flake out and say screw y'all and go on somewhere, play somewhere else. But for the he didn't grade well, but he was still a really good player. And I feel that way about Whitehead. Jamel Dean is, he's I'd say he's a high-end 2. He's a good 2 corner.
The problem is that he's your only one.
Right. He's the guy now.
Because you've got Todd Bowles' little best friend whose name I never can pronounce. The slot corner that just got annihilated week in and week out.
Oh, are you talking about Easy-In?
Easy. It's something like that. I thought it was a zine, but
it's something like that. Izien.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to school with like Bowles' kid or something, and he just fell in love with him. And he's not realistic about this kid's not any good. You keep trotting him out there, but he's not any good.
Right.
And Zion McCollum just doesn't fit in that scheme. So I look at the rest of the secondary and go, who am I supposed to have you in front of? And I'll steal from the chat here. Evan Doyle is trying to get me to explain why the Bengals aren't in the top 13. It's because I don't know what you have. You have pieces that I like. Who's the one? Are you telling me Cam Taylor-Britt is your one? Or the fast kid whose name it's eluding me. DJ Turner. You get he was awful last year, right? that was with guys that could actually defend ones. I like the combination of parts. I don't know how it's going to fit together. But I do feel like he deserved an explanation because I think he said the Bengals about 563 times.
Yeah, they were also on my honorable mention list.
They have an elite slot corner in Mike Hilton. The two outside guys scare the heber-jeebers out of me.
But then the safeties are that brings that group up a little bit.
Stephen Tao had a point about Geno Stone of he's bad when he's in Baltimore. He's good when he goes to Cincinnati. I've always had kind of a weak spot for Geno Stone because I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I just there's nothing. It's hard for me to have you in the top 10 of a list if I don't see what you can hang your hat on. And Mike Hilton would probably be the answer to that. But then I get to the outside. Cincinnati would have been probably the next team on my list. Them and Tampa Bay would have been flirting at 14 and 15. I don't know which one I would have had where.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have had Tampa Bay than Cincinnati. But that was my justification for it. You don't have to agree with it. Rich Vitale earlier said he often doesn't agree with me, but he at least understands when I explain it. And I appreciate it. That's all I ask. Just hear out my rationale. It might be stupid to have a mullet. I'm not very bright, and my brain's working on about 10% capacity right now.
With Trayvon Diggs coming back, the Dallas Cowboys, they'd fall anywhere close to your list?
They would have been – I think Dallas is about to find out the hard way how good Stephon Gilmore actually was. Because now you put the two dudes that, they intercept a lot of passes. You know why? Because they get thrown at a lot. Because nobody is scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been somewhere in this area. The Buffalo Bills would be somewhere in this area. Teron Johnson just constantly gets undervalued. I also think he's about to learn the hard way that number one coverage is a lot different than number two.
Yeah.
So when you play a side and you've got Tre'Davious White or Kyer Elam or whoever's playing on the other side to deal with the number one, you're fitting to find out because you're the one now.
And then lastly, the New England Patriots, is it crazy to think that they're in this discussion?
No.
Because their secondary ain't bad at all.
No, it's not.
I mean, they just paid Kyle Duggar. They've got Christian Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones and who's the other? Marcus Jones. They're not bad either.
No, New England's up there. The problem with New England is the ancillary. I don't think that team's very good, and you're going to get put in bad situations, and that does. New England probably should have been there because I like Christian Gonzalez a lot. I like Marcus Jones a lot. So that was New England's probably an oversight. I don't know who I would have taken off because I don't know that I like theirs better than any name I'm sitting here looking at. I also feel like we should point out Atlanta because I do really like Jesse Bates.
And A.J. Terrell.
I didn't like A.J. Terrell last year, but I've liked him the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that Raheem Morris system, they could be a resurgence. I kind of want to see it. Atlanta, I feel like, has more moving pieces than any team in the NFL. And so they're hard for me to get a beat on. I did the same thing with their receivers yesterday, excuse me. Because if you just tell me it's Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson, that's better than practically any team in the league. But I also don't know what it's going to look like. And then you get away from A.J. Terrell, and I have a slot corner playing on the outside, and that is bad.
All right, top 13 secondaries for 2024. We will continue the position-by-position breakdowns of the NFL plus summer scouting when we return on Wednesday. Coming up after the break here, though, we will get into our next session of summer scouting at ESPN Draft Nerd, dragging me along to all of the festivities of this past draft season. Really has me excited about getting to learn more about the guys that we'll be seeing again in person this year as we go on the Living the Dream tour with our good friends at Ingles Supermarkets, hitting the road for all of the biggest games in our region, as well as making a trip over to the Hall of Fame game coming up, August 1st?
Yes.
Is when that trip rolls around for us. And then Of course, another trip to the NFL draft, the whole Living the Dream tour culminating with that trip to Green Bay for the 2025 draft. We'll talk wide receivers and at least a tight end, maybe two, when we come back at the latest summer scouting here in the Sportsocracy.
This is the best time for being outdoors.
Clear.
Your knees,
Thank you.
shoulders, backs, or hips are hurting. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here.
Time for nuts.
QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk and run and hike and play golf and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
And there's number 4.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
When the flowers come into bloom, it is like a field of dreams.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, live from the Ingalls studio. Mullet, live from Mullet Manor. Still noticing no logo as he chews his Blue Diamond almonds.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Unpaid advertisement.
They could pay us. I'm telling you, all right, you can pay me in nuts. I don't care. You just back up a pallet of these Blue Diamond Mango Habanero barbecue almonds. I'll endorse you for that.
That's all it takes.
And they're on sale at your local Ingalls. Low prices.
Right?
Love the savings. Because that's where I buy them.
Like every great sports freak, just he's all about the trade deals. You're in the Sportsocracy.
Well, I mean, people have been telling me that for years, that was what I was all about.
92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. Summer scouting continuing here in the Sportsocracy, looking ahead to the 2025 NFL Draft, which means all the dudes that you're going to want to keep a keen eye on this college football season. Wide receivers, tight ends. Focused on the wide receivers because, I mean, it's another hell of a class.
It's not as good preliminarily as last year was. Because to me, you don't have three, no doubt, dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the potential for it. You got a lot of guys that I could see having really good years and being. I mean, look, I love Luther Burden. He's a little bit small for my taste.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's only 5'11", but I think he's going to run really well.
So is he year one?
He's by one, yeah.
Okay.
Your team played against him last year, so you feel free to give me your takeaways after watching him.
Well, I mean, frankly, he's the only thing that really scares you.
Well, Cody Schrader did. Finished like 5th in the nation in rushing.
Yeah, but he's not a pass catcher. Let me finish the thought.
Sorry.
Catching the ball, he's the only thing that scares you for the Missouri Tigers. Yeah, they had a hell of a running game, but when you have a guy who can do multiple things as a wide receiver, he's got really good hands.
He does. He can beat you deep. He's a really good route runner. He's not a good blocker, but that's not surprising. 86 catches last year, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. And that was with him being basically the only thing they had in the passing game, like you said. I love this kid with the ball in his hands. I mean, this kid to me is like Deebo Samuel on steroids. Because it might be a little difficult to get it to him because he is so short, but he can hurt you.
Yeah, don't let him get away. If you're going to let him catch it, then be sure to wrap him up because there are very few guys that are better after the catch than Luther Burden.
He kind of reminds me of a poor man's Malachi Corley. I had to.
Okay, all right. It's all right. You can throw in a little sop to your new boyfriend.
Hey, he's my new best friend, and I have to give him love when I get the opportunity.
Well, I mean, he put up those kinds of numbers, the 9 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, what'd you say, 80-something catches last year. Puts all that up despite playing in the SEC against number 1 SEC corners who knew the ball was going your way. If they ever dare throw the ball, it's going his way.
Well, I mean, and in terms of
there's a lot to be said for that.
If you're just looking at talent per square inch, then Luther Burden's my one. If you're more, hey, I need big NFL body, Titeroa McMillan's on line 2, and he would like to talk because he is a big boy. He's my 2.
6'5", 6'5", 210 pounds with 4.5 speed.
The speed is debatable. I think he's one of those that probably doesn't test as well. Because I think in terms of straight line speed, he's more in like the mid 4.5s, but he plays faster. It kind of reminds me of Keon Coleman last year. The biggest thing, the number one thing you need to know about Titeroa McMillan, would you like to hear the list of Power 5 receivers with at least 100 targets that had less drops than McMillan last year?
Oh, you want to hear it again?
You want to hear it again? Because it's him, and it's not even close.
Uh-huh.
He has elite hands. He reminds me a lot of Drake London. I think he is a bigger version of Drake London, and he's probably better. Arizona is a team that it seems like every position I do, I find a guy that I really like. And now with them going into the Big 12, I don't know what you could get them at to win the Big 12 this year, but I would be interested. I'd at least hear it out with Noah Fafita and McMillan and all of the talent they have on that team. it's at least worth talking about. They did lose their coach, which doesn't help anything, but
right. Number 3.
Oh, my computer froze. Go! Thank you. It's Evan Stewart out of Texas A&M. And I already know what you're going to say before you even say it.
But, what about Emeka Egbuka?
There it is. You know I'm not as wild about him as everybody else. I'm just not. I never have been.
But why is that? Is it but just because you think that he was his good was a product of the guys that were around him?
It's not so much that. He's never been the guy. It is hard for me to sit here and go, a guy is top 2, top 3 at a pretty loaded position when you've never seen number 1 coverage in your life. You haven't seen number 2 coverage very often. And then you get into the injury things that he had. It's just hard. I've yet to have anybody give me, other than he's really fast. Awesome. Great. He has just over 100 catches in his life. He had 500 yards last year with Marvin Harrison on the other side. Oh, but he was hurt. Okay. He put on a uniform far enough that he should have been more impressive than he was. Mm-hmm. I don't have Emeka Egbuka in my top 5. Play. Okay, it ain't going to get much better this year. Teeter Owen McMillan had 2 different quarterbacks last year, so maybe lose me on that. You have 3 5-star quarterbacks in that room.
Will Howard's not better than what's his face that was there last year?
Kyle McCord. I don't know.
Really?
I look at 3 5-star guys that they had in that room and go, Will Howard's a jag.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guy. He's fine. He's fine. But, I guess I'm looking at the other guy. Can you name me the quarterback at Missouri?
No.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be holding up Luther Burden. In the SEC, by the way. How about the quarterback at Texas A&M? Because Connor Vegman, he got hurt. Mm-hmm. Who was that? It didn't hold up Evan Stewart much. Jalen Milroe, I'm not 100% sure, can throw a football in a replicable way. Didn't stop Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, but who are they competing with? That's the other thing.
At Alabama? At Missouri? Who are they competing with? They play in the best conference in the country.
No. Who's the receivers competing with? Luther Burden's got nobody but him.
It doesn't matter. That you understand that actually makes it harder for a prospect, right? Because you're getting double-teamed constantly. Emeka Egbuka's never been double-teamed once in his life.
Not if you're not getting the targets.
I don't understand what you're saying. You're going to have to explain what you're trying to tell me there. If you're not getting the targets, he's the best receiver on the damn team. He's getting targets.
But Emeka Egbuka was not. That's what I'm saying. That's why his stats don't match up. Because he wasn't the best receiver on his team. Because he was never open. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Because he was never open. He's a 4-3 guy that was never open. You're getting number 2 coverage, and now you're telling me that's going to get better? You had the best receiver in college football on the other side. Oh, I'm not getting targets. They threw it 400 some odd times last year. He had 41 catches with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't buy it. I've never bought it. Mm-hmm. I watch him on tape and go, I'm sure you have all the talent in the world. And it just does not come through on tape ever. I don't have him in the top 5.
Wow. Okay.
Now, could he have a great year this year? Maybe he responds to the pressure. Maybe Will Howard's better than I think. Sure. Am I getting him over a guy like Luther Burden that I've seen succeed at every level? No. Am I getting him over McMillan, who I've seen succeed with way bigger problems? All right. So I want to take what you just said there. Mm-hmm. Ohio State has more talent than every team they play every single year except Michigan. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
And yet the complaint is, but he did have an elite quarterback. Teeter Owen McMillan had 2 dudes last year, and I'm not sure one of them can throw. Noah Fafita came in, and I can't figure out how Jed Fish is a quarterback whisperer, and he didn't figure out that that's the guy that should be playing the first half of the year. It's just I get so irritated when people give me that of, oh, he didn't have an elite quarterback. He's at friggin' Ohio State. He has elite everything. Kyle McCord would be the best quarterback that Luther Burden's ever met in his life. But, well, poor little Emeka Egbuka, is it too hard for him? Yeah, I've read this book. I've read it with a lot of Ohio State receivers, actually. Devin Smith is my number one comp on him. Oh, look, he's really fast. Awesome. He can't catch. He can't track a football. And he complained about every single thing that happened of, oh, this is why I don't look elite. And then he went to the Jets and couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie. I feel the same way about Emeka Egbuka. Could he prove me wrong? Sure. Yeah, the year he had Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Marvin Harrison, he was awfully impressive. Weird. They went away and he couldn't do squat. Sure, it's just a coincidence, though.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Evan Stewart's your 3.
My biggest knock on him is he is super whittle. They list him at 175, which means he probably weighs about $155. But you want to talk about a guy that's going to go to the combine and run real fast. Mm-hmm. Evan Stewart's going to run real fast.
But can he catch? It's great to be fast, but can he catch?
I'm trying to say this in a way that
I feel like there's a well coming. I feel like,
there is a well coming.
He can.
But you know what I'm going to say, because I've said this about Texas Tech guys Texas A&M guys for years.
Right. Coaching.
How many guys leave Jimbo Fisher and get better? Devon Achane has been one of the best running backs in the NFL. Did we ever consider him that way at Texas A&M? No, because he wasn't coached well. And I kind of see some of that with Evan Stewart. I see the raw talent. That's a kid that's had issues at quarterback. Max Johnson is far and away the best quarterback he's ever played with, and he didn't fit in that system at all. We love Max. And I'm so happy he went to Carolina, because I think he's going to win that job going away. But, I mean, with Connor Wegman going down, I think he played with 4 different dudes last year. I look for a big jump out of him. I've seen enough already for him to be this high. He could get higher than this.
All right, Evan Stewart at number 3. We got to take a break. And then when we come back, we'll continue with summer scouting here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. Talking wide receivers. You need to keep an eye on this coming college football season.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scan.
Clear.
Thank you.
On ESPN Asheville.
Thank you for setting me up on Emeka Egbuka there, because I really wanted to just knock that one out of the park.
Near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms Wednesday. Best chance and most numerous as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Highs tomorrow near 80. Thursday, mix of clouds and sun. Still a chance for a few showers and storms. Highs Thursday afternoon, low 80s.
Emeka Sasquatch Egbuka.
Friday, upper 70s to near 80. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 English Muffin Breakfast Deal. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English Muffin Breakfast Deal. Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price.
Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
A weekend full of superstar performances this September.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale Friday, June 14th.
But starting June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
Asheville Smiles has been featured in national publications like Good Housekeeping and Woman's Day. And check out this 5-star.
All right, skipping crimes.
Experience was wonderful. I
Yeah.
cannot say enough about Dr. Merrill and her amazing team at Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry. Dr. Merrill took time to explain everything. She made me feel relaxed and confident that I was in good hands. I apologize for those.
So where was Ibuka on your list?
6.
Thank you all so much, and
I'll
thank you,
save
Dr.
my
Merrill,
good
for the
crime
hope
story
to
for
get my
Thursday.
smile back. Check out Asheville Smiles online at ashevillesmiles.com.
Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation is known for compassionate care for all across its 18 North Carolina locations. Whether your loved one needs short-term rehabilitation or long-term care, our exceptional staff and comprehensive services are here to support their recovery or ongoing needs.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dales available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
Oh, football season is going to be here before you know it. We do have OTAs still going on today. Just saw on the Twitter machine the Bucs fans are going crazy today because Mike Evans showed up for the first practice of the OTA session down in Tampa. So OTAs are going on in the NFL. Woo! We've got summer scouting of the players that are going to be featured here in the Sportsocracy over the college football season leading up to the 2025 NFL Draft, which we will be live at once again, thanks to our wonderful partners here on the program, good friends at Ingles Supermarkets, and the folks from Oscar Blues are getting involved as well, our good friends at Dale's Pale Ale. On the Living the Dream tour that's going to take us all over the Southeast, scouting many of these players in person, and then culminating with another trip to the draft and the combine and the Senior Bowl and all of the things. You want us to keep it tuned here to the Sportsocracy. We're talking wide receivers. At ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene has given us his top 3 wide receivers for this upcoming 2025 class. Luther Burden from Missouri. Titaroa McMillan.
Titaroa McMillan, yep.
And then Evan Stewart are your top 3. You don't like Emeka Egbuka, so he's at 6.
He is at 6. I mean, look, he's got talent. It's just I get so sick of hearing the.
Well, but my quarterback's not a 5-star.
Dude, one of the guys in my top 10 plays at Colorado State, so maybe save me on that.
Number 4 on your list,
Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss has this weird ability to recruit just awesome talent. And then for whatever reason, they get really quiet. They're good, and you watch them play, and it's very obvious how good they are, but nobody hypes them. Mm-hmm. I think Lane Kiffin's kid is getting more hype than Ole Miss is, which is weird because he's 14. But, I mean, Ole Miss has 2 guys in my top 10. Twan Wells and Trey Harris are both in my top 10. Mm-hmm. By the way, that team's going to be super good. This is a good time for me to say that for the 15th time. It'll only happen 200 more times. If you don't get your futures on Ole Miss, that's on you, bruh.
At number 5?
My 5 is Isaiah Bond. He reminds me so much of Jalen Waddle sometimes that it's gross. Mm-hmm. I just need to see him take that next step. Because it's not necessarily on tape as often as I want it to be. But I've seen a little bit of special, just enough for me to put him up here and go, he's the guy this year. You should see it moving forward.
Yep. Very good wide receiver. Lots of speed with him. And every Georgia fan will tell you he did not catch that ball.
And then just
still
a few
hasn't caught it to this day.
And then just a few others to know. Xavier Restrepo out of Miami. If you liked Ladd McConkey this year, you're probably going to, or Ricky Pearsall, you're probably going to like Xavier Restrepo this year. As he's just sure-handed, really good route runner. It's going to be nice to see him with a quarterback, because that's another one. You want to whine to me about Kyle McCord? Let's look at what Miami's been chucking out there for the last 2 years. Because Restrepo's going to go, I believe I have a claim to bad quarterback play. Torrey Horton out of Colorado State is a kid that you should keep a really good eye on. And then J. Michael Sturdivant out of UCLA. Who's going to play quarterback for them? I have no clue. Absolutely no idea. Because Dante Moore transferred to Oregon. But he is super talented.
All right. I didn't hear any tight ends there.
It's because I hadn't said them yet.
Do you – I mean, is there any that is going to be really sought after at the NFL level?
Colston Loveland will be a top 20 pick. I'm almost remiss to say that because I think next year's class is just a step behind this year's. It's not going to be as sexy because there's way more defensive players. Mm-hmm. But Colston Loveland has the ability to be a super high-level tight end prospect. Big-bodied. There's just a lot to like. Now, you do run into the who's playing quarterback in Michigan now? I can't say his first name without his I can't say his last name without his first name, or the FCC would get angry because that's words you can't say on.
6'5", Colston Loveland out of Michigan. He's your one.
No doubt.
Is there a close two?
It depends on what you mean by close. I think there's a second-round kid out of Notre Dame, Mitchell Evans, that I like a lot. And he could take a step forward. He's another one. Body type, he's almost the exact same as Colston Loveland. I don't know that he projects like Michael Mayer, which is funny because that's who he replaced.
Yeah.
So I could see
playmaker with some speed and some size.
I could see a path that you get him in that top of the second round range. And then for me, it's a whole mess of dart throws. You got Luke Lachey at Iowa. Anytime I see an Iowa tight end, my ears perk up and go, that one's probably going to be good because all the others seem to be.
It'll be worth a try anyway.
Bryson Nesbitt at Carolina. Yep. I think he will be Max Johnson's safety blanket. And then Oscar Delp of your Georgia Bulldogs and Aronde Gadsden II from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Those are my watch list guys.
I mean, Oscar's one of those that so many fans are going to get caught up into, well, he's not Brock Bowers. Well, no one's Brock Bowers. But Oscar Delp might be the second best tight end I've seen at Georgia.
We do this every year.
In a long time.
We do this every year. There will be a transcendent prospect at a position, but the rest of the class just absolutely sucks on ice, like tight end did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the class the next year, and there's 7 that are – I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. In this year's class, 2 through 8 in this class would have come out of 2025. In terms of grade, Brock Bowers would have been 1. The 7 guys I just said would have been 2 through 8, and then Jatavian Sanders would have popped up at 9. So this class is way better. It just doesn't have the top 5 talent.
Right.
And Loveland could get there, but I struggle to see how Anthony Orji is going to get him to that point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alex Orji, sorry. I don't know why I call him Anthony all the time.
I don't either. No clue. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The 2024 Summer Scouting will continue when we return on Thursday. We got Braves baseball tomorrow afternoon. Braves also playing tonight here on ESPN Asheville, so be sure to tune in for that. They got one tonight with the Red Sox, and then the early game tomorrow for the travel day against the Sox as well. Both games coming to you from Fenway Park. We will return on Thursday, noon o'clock. Here
noon o'clock.
Yes, noon o'clock. Mark your calendars, set your watches, set your alarms, whatever you have to do for noon o'clock on Thursday, where we will return with another batch of summer scouting and top 13 position groups in the NFL. Is it time for like defensive linemen next?
Yes, we will do defensive linemen and running backs Thursday, Friday. We'll start with run stuffers in the NFL and running backs in college on Thursday, and then we'll flip it for Friday. A question out of the YouTube chat. Cedric Jones asked, sorry to go back to wide receiver, thoughts on Dylan Bell. He's on my watch list. So I'm basically, where we sit, I feel really solid about my top 100. Summer scouting is where I go from 100 to 300. And so Dylan Bell, I can tell you, I would say I have probably watched a grand total of 30 minutes on him. So I can give you some really first look on him, but I can't go much deeper. Mm-hmm. And that's where I will start laying out the board as the season goes on.
All right, and you'll be along on the ride with us here in the Sportsocracy. We, like I said, will return with you on Thursday at noon. In the meantime, enjoy the Braves baseball. We will see you Thursday.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have it.
Thank you.
Business needs most attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
People are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Just check out their Google reviews. One patient writes, I'll start by saying I really hate going to the dentist. My anxiety is always through the roof and I'm always so nervous. However, Summit Dental may be the first place that my anxiety is actually not going through the roof. The staff that works at Summit are an incredible team. They're kind, knowledgeable, and funny. I left feeling confident that we have a plan to help restore my teeth and get me on track to a better smile. Find out more about Summit Dental at AshevilleSummitDental.com or call 828-277-6868.
Tuesday, July 30th, Orange Peel Events presents Chevelle. Get your tickets now online at theorangepeel.net. Don't miss Chevelle live July 30th at Rabbit.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mix of clouds and sunshine for us here this afternoon. Scattered showers and storms possible this afternoon and into tonight. Highs near 80, mid-60s tonight. More showers and storms.